Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. One Piece, Retired Admiral, starting in Nika form. Chapter 41. Boom. Two domineering colors collided with a bang. The aura that surged up tore apart all the thunderclouds in the sky above. Suddenly, countless thunders dissipated. Seeing this, the red-haired man smiled. I didn't expect that I would accidentally break this crisis. And, the red-haired man looked at Ling Yun. He showed a face of confidence, because he sensed that Ling Yun's domineering color domineering, although controlled extremely perfectly. But it was obvious that the level was still at the primary level. It was not enough to fight him at all. Boom. With a sudden force, the red-haired man's domineering color domineering suddenly rushed, and quickly knocked Ling Yun's side away. Ling Yun's domineering color domineering was visibly weaker. However, Ling Yun didn't care. Instead, he looked at the sky. He shook his head with a look of regret. It's a pity that the one that could have killed more people was actually directly destroyed by the collision of Conqueror's Haki. However, in comparison, my Conqueror's Haki is indeed a little weak, and Conqueror's Haki also plays an extremely critical role in subsequent battles. For example, the Conqueror's Haki that can increase attack power. So, I can only continue to improve it. Ling Yun grinned. In the bombardment just now, Wan Lei killed more than a dozen members of the Red Hair Pirates. Although their strength is relatively weak, they are at least as strong as pirate cadres. So, each of them can get at least 100 attribute points. Even the most one person can get more than 300 attribute points. So, the attribute points just obtained are completely enough for me to continue to improve the level of Conqueror's Haki. Ling Yun's mouth corners slightly raised. He silently said in his heart, "Continue to improve Conqueror's Haki. Yes, consume 2000 attribute points, and the Conqueror Haki is upgraded to the intermediate level." Boom, the mechanical sound in my mind just fell. Ling Yun's Conqueror Haki suddenly soared. Ha! Red Hair felt the change of Ling Yun's Conqueror Haki at the first time, and his face changed slightly. "You are still hiding your strength." Immediately, Red Hair still showed a confident smile. "Maybe I am not as good as Ling Yun in other aspects. But in Conqueror Haki, I am the well-deserved number one." Boom, I saw Red Hair's eyes condensed, and his whole body was full of momentum. Still knocked Ling Yun's Conqueror Haki back slowly. "Very good." Ling Yun raised his eyebrows slightly and smiled. Glanced at Whitebeard and Kaido not far away, smiled. All the attribute points just obtained from killing members of the Red Hair Pirates have been used up. But this does not mean that only members of the Red Hair Pirates were killed just now. Because, Boss Kaido, more than 50 people were struck by thunder, and 23 people died directly. Dad, many members were struck by thunder, resulting in 9 serious injuries and 18 deaths. Both the Beast's Pirates and the Whitebeard Pirates have ordinary members killed by thunder. They are all the weakest among the people on their trip. This is the result of Whitebeard and Kaido personally helping to resist. Otherwise, the number of casualties would have to be multiplied several times. The number of people from the Beast's Pirates and the Whitebeard Pirates is so large that it is impossible to protect them all. The dead are relatively weak, so the system points obtained are very few, basically only about 80 or 90 strength. Thanks to the large number, we have gathered the system points needed to continue to improve the Conqueror's Haki. Ling Yun chuckled. I thought to myself, keep improving. Ding. Consume 3000 attribute points, and the domineering Haki is upgraded to high level, full level. Automatically obtain the 700 level domineering Haki skill, domineering Haki entanglement. Automatically obtain the 9000 level domineering Haki skill, observation kill. Currently 120 system points remaining. Continuous mechanical prompts sounded, and Ling Yun's domineering Haki surged again. Boom, in an instant. The trees around Ling Yun were instantly hit by the domineering Haki that erupted again. All of them were cut in half. Even the ground. It was caught off guard and countless cracks appeared. What? The red-haired man saw this horrible scene and his face changed drastically. The pupils shrank directly into needles. His eyes were filled with horror as if he had seen a ghost. Because, even he, who was recognized by the whole world as possessing the domineering aura of the king, could only use the domineering aura to directly cause minor physical damage. Cracked the deck, which was made of wood. And what about Ling Yun? Directly broke the entire tree in half. Even the ground was cracked with countless cracks. How could this not make him feel extremely shocked? Boom! This thought flashed through his mind. And the collision between Red Hair and Lingyun's domineering haki suddenly changed dramatically at this moment. He was originally in a slight advantage, and instantly became an absolute disadvantage. Boom! Red Hair trembled all over. His eyes were full of disbelief. Because his domineering haki showed a trend of defeat in the collision. Puff! Red Hair suddenly spit out a mouthful of blood. But his eyes were firm, and he still gritted his teeth and persisted. Boss! Ben Beckman's face changed drastically, and he hurried forward. How is this possible? His conqueror haki is so strong. Kaido was shocked. He could not help but roar. However, before he could react, he heard the sound of people falling to the ground all around. Plop, plop. Oh no, boss. Many members couldn't bear the aftermath of the conqueror haki collision and were knocked unconscious. Jin spoke anxiously. Kaido was shocked. It stands to reason that most of the power of the conqueror haki collision is restrained, because it is necessary to ensure that he does not lose in the collision with the opponent. So the possibility of them, the bystanders, being implicated is not high. But now he is still knocked unconscious. It is conceivable how violent and terrible the collision between them is. Okay, I got it. Kaido saw Red Hair being beaten back by Lingyun, and a cold look flashed in his eyes. The next moment, Kaido's conqueror's haki burst out suddenly. Boom! It merged directly with Red Hair's haki, forming a more powerful conqueror's haki, and fought against Lingyun together. Dad, what should we do? Marco looked at the scene on the field and asked Whitebeard beside him. Behind them, like the beast's pirates, there were also many members who were directly stunned. Humph! Lingyun's haki is too terrifying, they are probably far from being able to do it alone. Hualala, I'm coming too. Whitebeard smiled up to the sky. The majestic domineering aura surged up and directly joined the camp of Red Hair and Kaido. Boom! The domineering aura attacks of their sides merged instantly, and the two fought fiercely. But, even with the addition of Whitebeard's domineering aura, they just barely resisted the decline. They just supported themselves and didn't lose directly. Humph! Seeing this scene, Lingyun snorted coldly. In terms of domineering aura, it's not like armament haki and observation haki, the gap between them is huge. In contrast, except for Lingyun, the strongest Red Hair, the domineering aura can reach a value of more than 9,000. And 7,000 is a watershed of high-level domineering aura. Most of the top powerhouses can only reach this value, that is, the degree to which they can use domineering aura entanglement. This is why Red Hair, who obviously has no fruit power, is so powerful, even on par with Whitebeard, Kaido and others. Although you are numerous, the domineering aura you display when you join forces is not as simple as 1 + 1. Quote. Above 7,000 values, each increase is extremely difficult. You are still too weak. After saying that, Lingyun's eyes condensed. His aura surged again. Boom! The powerful domineering aura swept out instantly. It was like a terrifying gale. The 6 pirates and other elite pirates had to grit their teeth and hold on to stabilize their bodies. Most of the pirates were blown by the gale and could only hold on to everything around them. Many pirates were even blown directly into the sky. How is this possible? Almost in an instant, they felt the collision of domineering auras that the 3 of them had barely resisted, and they fell into a disadvantage again. Already slowly retreating. In an instant, their faces all changed drastically. All of them couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. They didn't expect that the domineering haki could be cultivated to such a level. This is too shocking. You know, they are the 3-4 emperors who joined forces, but they couldn't resist. General Lingyun didn't even use his full strength just now. The Empress was stunned when she saw this scene. She couldn't help but take a breath, and a look of shock appeared on her beautiful face. As expected of General Lingyun, he has strong physical skills and observation haki. I knew it before. Later, even the armament haki is extremely terrifying, and then there are 3 devil fruit abilities. Even now, even the domineering haki can suppress the 3-4 emperors. Muttering softly, the Empress looked at Lingyun, with a strange light in her eyes. A feeling of worship and respect spread rapidly in her heart. Although I am happy to see General Lingyun suppress them, but... She thought about it. She looked at the other Shichibukai around her. The other Shichibukai do not have the Conqueror's Haki, and it is no secret that I have the Conqueror's Haki. If I don't help resist now, the Navy will not be able to justify it. Then just pretend. The corner of the Empress's mouth raised an arc. Anyway, when she was pretending just now, General Lingyun had already understood. If she took action again, the other party would not blame her. What's more, even the combined efforts of the 3-4 emperors could not resist General Lingyun's Conqueror's Haki, so what if she was added? Thinking of this, the Empress's Conqueror's Haki was also released. It was directly superimposed on the Conqueror's Haki of the 3 red-haired people. Boom. As expected, with the addition of the Empress, it was like a stream flowing into the sea. There was almost no impact. Not even a little change. Lingyun just glanced at the Empress and smiled, not caring. And in the distance, on the Navy ship that was approaching quickly. Something is not right. Zhongguo looked at the scene in the distance, his face full of doubt. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it. Lingyun was hiding so deeply. He couldn't help but speak, trembling all over. It's fine to have the domineering Haki, but he has cultivated it to such a level. Even Red Hair, the man who is recognized as having the strongest domineering Haki, is far from being his opponent in this aspect. No one thought that Lingyun had only cultivated it recently. After all, that was too absurd. Which strong man's domineering Haki didn't gradually become stronger after at least 20 to 30 years? Especially this kind of advanced and super strong Conqueror's Haki. The number of strong people who can cultivate to the point of using Conqueror's Haki can probably be counted on 2 hands. Not to mention reaching the level of Red Hair's observation kill. After hearing the words of Crane's staff officer, everyone felt a chill. Even Garp was no exception. Because he clearly had such strength and could easily kill them. But he had been with them day and night for decades. Just imagine, a familiar comrade in arms suddenly became an unattainable existence for himself. How can this not make people feel scared? At this time, the faces of the 5 elders were also very ugly. Humph, this Lingyun has hidden so much strength, he must have a wolfish ambition. No matter what his conspiracy is, he must be wiped out here today. The eyes of the old man holding the sword were filled with extremely cold killing intent. And the 2 5 elders on the side also nodded. That's right, this guy must not be left alive. They looked at each other and saw the fear in each other's eyes. They will not be able to sleep or eat well if they are alive with this kind of enemy. They are going to lose. Suddenly, Kizaru spoke solemnly. We can't let them lose. Zhongguo spoke in a deep voice. Once they fail in this clash of Conqueror's Haki, it will greatly affect the morale of both their pirates and our navy. This is a huge war, even if there is only one enemy. Besides, if they lose, Lingyun's powerful Conqueror's Haki will probably make many people faint on the spot. If a large number of pirates are stunned, they will be easily killed by Lingyun. Akainu sneered when he heard this. Isn't that just right? Anyway, they are all pirates. Staff Officer Crane shook his head and spoke. It would be fine if it were normal, but now we need them to fight Lingyun together. They are still useful, but not now. Yes, and now our navy is also their ally, we can't just sit back and watch. Zhongguo shook his head. When he saw the 5 elders nod, Zhongguo suddenly activated his own Conqueror's Haki. It rushed far away and merged directly into the Conqueror's Haki of Red Hair and others. Fight Lingyun together. Boom. As soon as Sengoku's domineering Haki joined in, their defeat in the collision slowed down instantly. Looking at the Navy warships in the distance, Whitebeard, Red Hair and Kaido all breathed a sigh of relief at the same time. Because once they were defeated in this domineering Haki collision, their members would inevitably suffer the impact of Lingyun's domineering Haki. And how many people could withstand such a terrifying domineering Haki? I'm afraid that a large number of people would be shocked unconscious in an instant. But, before they showed their joy, they were shocked to find that, although Sengoku's joining slowed down their defeat, they were still at a disadvantage. This. Red Hair and several others, including Sengoku, couldn't help but turn pale. Obviously, Lingyun's domineering Haki power has far exceeded their imagination. Even, they couldn't help but feel that they were unmatched. Can we really kill such a powerful enemy together? At this time, The 3-4 emperors and 1 marine admiral. All had a faint idea of retreating. And the domineering Haki is closely related to one's own will, momentum and fighting spirit. This thought just emerged in their minds. The domineering Haki they joined forces with was like a dam breaking at this moment, and they retreated with a bang. Not good. Zhongguo, Red Hair and others' faces changed drastically. At the same time, they couldn't help but grit their teeth, and their momentum came all over their bodies. Several people joined forces to resist Ling Yun's domineering Haki attack. Haha, no need to resist. Even if all of you use domineering Haki together, you can't beat me. Ling Yun chuckled, and a playful expression appeared on his face. His eyes were still filled with undisguised contempt. No matter what, attack the heart first, you. Kaido and others blushed and couldn't help gritting their teeth. As if they were bearing a huge force at this moment, they had no extra strength and mind to answer. Just gritting their teeth and holding on. But Ling Yun would not let it go so easily. Still mocking, you here are either the 4 emperors or the marshals. Is the domineering aura only this level even when they join forces? Then what are the 4 emperors, what are the marshals? Looking at them, Ling Yun sneered, and the facts proved that this is indeed effective. Under Ling Yun's various murderous and heartbreaking words, the domineering aura of the few of them has gradually retreated. To the brink of defeat in the end. On the Navy warship. I didn't expect this guy to be so tricky. Satan couldn't help shaking his head. We have to take action now. We were originally thinking about conserving our strength and hiding our trump cards. I feel that, apart from this clash of domineering colors, we have no choice but to take action in the subsequent battles. He has hidden trump cards. There are too many, the blonde old man said. The 3 looked at each other. All nodded. It's been a long time since I took action, even if I just use the domineering color domineering now. I guess the world has long forgotten the power of our 5 elders. As soon as the voice fell, 3 extremely powerful domineering colors instantly merged like a raging wave. Boom. In an instant, the ground shook violently. Directly, this huge island was sunk by a full fist. Ling Yun's face changed immediately. I couldn't help but turn my head to look at the sea in the distance. 5 elders. He didn't expect that the 3-5 elders who came actually possessed Conqueror Haki. And their levels were quite high. Although not as good as Red Hair, they were obviously stronger than Kaido. It was the 5 elders who took action. Red Hair spoke in a deep voice. Can't you hold it back after all? Kaido's face looked a little ugly. I didn't expect that 3 more 5 elders would be needed to join in the end, and the Conqueror Haki of both sides was barely evenly matched. At this time, Ling Yun and the enemy. The 2 Conqueror Hakis were colliding with each other. It seemed that no one could do anything to anyone. Although the quality of the opponent is not high, there are more people after all. There was a trace of regret in Ling Yun's eyes. But he was also satisfied. After all, this was the combination of 3-4 emperors, 1 navy marshal, 3-5 elders, and a 7 warlords of the Sea Empress who made up the numbers. Just thinking about it, the next moment, boom. The domineering auras of both sides collided and collapsed instantly, as if when it reached the limit of both sides' tolerance. It turned into energy ripples, sweeping the world here. The mountains were directly cracked, and endless smoke and dust rose into the sky. Countless people were lifted up by the strong wind, swept high into the air, and then fell to the ground. After a long time, everything returned to calm again. I feel like this collision of domineering colors seemed to have lasted for a whole century. Too scary. What kind of monster are we dealing with? The domineering color domineering alone can be so strong. Mom, I want to go home. Countless pirates and navy couldn't help trembling. Looking at Ling Yun, it was as if they were looking at a ghost. Not to mention them, even the admirals and the 4 emperors couldn't help but gasp. The heart was extremely shocked. There was no way, Ling Yun's domineering color domineering. It was really unheard of in the world. It is no exaggeration to say that Ling Yun possesses the strongest conqueror Haki in the world. With the 3 of us, it is only evenly matched. The 5 elders were shocked. Their faces were extremely solemn, and they looked at Ling Yun in the distance with great fear. He exchanged glances with Sengoku, who nodded. He immediately gave orders. Sakazuki, get ready to attack. Okay. The three admirals of the Navy nodded. Ling Yun, we admit that your conqueror Haki is indeed very strong. However, strength is not entirely determined by conqueror Haki. Kaido suppressed his inner shock and astonishment. He looked at Ling Yun in a stern voice. Holding a mace, he looked ready to attack at any time. That's right, Ling Yun. Whitebeard spoke in a deep voice. Holding a broadsword, he stood separately from Kaido, and confronted Ling Yun from a distance. Hee. Ling Yun chuckled. Just the two of you. Of course there are more than that. Suddenly, Akainu's voice came. Ling Yun looked over, and it was the three admirals of the Navy coming. Ahem, and me. Redhead wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. He walked straight forward. Seeing Redhead's appearance, Ling Yun couldn't help but frown. Why did he feel that Redhead's attack had become much lighter? He should have been seriously injured by himself. While he was in doubt, the three admirals and the four emperors had surrounded Ling Yun. Ling Yun, today I don't believe that you can deal with the six of us at the same time. Akainu's eyes were filled with strong resentment, and his face was ferocious. Being crushed by Ling Yun several times before, Akainu felt extremely humiliated. Only by completely killing Ling Yun can he wash away the hatred in his heart. Sorry, General Ling Yun, Aokiji said expressionlessly. Kizaru pouted and shook his head helplessly. We have no choice, General Ling Yun, just go on your way with peace of mind. At this time, they were extremely confident. Although their three admirals plus Kaido were still crushed before. But now they have added Whitebeard and Red Hair. Not to mention that there is also Sengoku Garp who is ready at any time, and Vice Admiral Ikijong has not yet made a move. The seven warlords of the sea can take advantage of this time to recover their physical strength. Of course, there are also the most mysterious 3-5 elders. So they didn't think that this mission to eliminate Ling Yun could fail. However, if the six of them could kill Ling Yun together, that would be the best. So, everyone was watching. Hee. Ling Yun heard this. But he sneered. Just the six of you. I really don't need Ling Yun to exert my full strength. Then let's see if you can survive under our joint efforts. Akainu interrupted Ling Yun's words. With a heart full of anger and murderous intent. He attacked directly. Die, hell dog. In an instant, Akainu's right arm quickly turned into magma, and transformed into a huge magma dog head. He opened his mouth ferociously and bit towards Ling Yun. At the same time, Sky Cloud Sword. Kizaru moved one hand, and the light gathered into a golden long sword. Immediately, he moved and appeared behind Ling Yun at the fastest speed. He slashed with his sword. Aokiji stood still. He raised his hands far away. The cold air like white mist instantly spread from the ground. And in the blink of an eye, it surged to Ling Yun's feet, trying to freeze Ling Yun's body in the first time. The three admirals of the Navy launched the attack almost at the same time. And the four emperors, Whitebeard, Kaido and Red Hair were naturally not slow. Immediately, Kaido changed his body shape in the first time. Directly transformed from the blue dragon form to the dragon man form that is best at fighting. With an extremely ferocious figure and face, he grabbed his weapon and waved it. The third generation, inducing Naraku. In the first time, Kaido did not hold back at all, and directly displayed his strongest form and moves. He fell from the air after changing into the dragon man form. He swung his mace quickly, with powerful armament haki and domineering haki wrapped around it. Endless black lightning spread out. With a terrifying momentum, he smashed down towards Ling Yun below. And Red Hair also displayed his strongest domineering haki, which lingered on his sword griffin. He chopped it down fiercely. Whitebeard also swung his broadsword. The power of the Tremor fruit was activated, and the power of the Tremor fruit was added to the blade. And he chopped it down fiercely. At this time, the five of them. Akainu was in front. Kizaru was behind, Whitebeard was on the left, and Red Hair was on the right, and they approached at the same time. Aokiji controlled the cold air from a distance, as if he wanted to freeze or slow down Ling Yun's figure. And Kaido in the sky, bombed from top to bottom. Seeing 6 people attacking at the same time, Ling Yun's heart sank. Because, it seems that these 6 people have already discussed and formulated a battle strategy. They seem to be in perfect harmony. And the fact is almost the same, except that Aokiji's original position was occupied by Red Hair, so Aokiji withdrew from the position of close combat and interfered with Ling Yun from the back. HMPH. However, although he was a little surprised, Ling Yun smiled. What if the 6 of them are in perfect harmony? He has the top physique, top physical skills, top 3 color domineering, and 3 devil fruit abilities. Exclamation mark. What is there to fear? It was almost in an instant. The 3 color domineering on Ling Yun's body instantly surged out like a tide. The observation domineering was unfolded, and everything around was in full view. The armed domineering covered his whole body, as if he was wearing extremely powerful armor in an instant. The domineering aura of the king lingered around his fists, and an indestructible aura of destruction came over him. Sun God Nika form, Thunder God form. Instantly, Ling Yun's appearance changed, his hair turned white, and a breath like white ribbons lingered around him. And the outer part of his body was also blessed with endless thunder. The huge thunder god who looked exactly like Ling Yun directly protected Ling Yun's body inside. It's not over yet, Iron Block. Ling Yun grinned. Finally, he also blessed the Navy 6 styles that he has always been very good at, Iron Block. The Iron Block he mastered no longer had the disadvantage of being immobile. In another sense, it is the second kind of armament hockey. It happened so fast, Ling Yun's powers were almost all exerted at the same time. However, the speed of Whitebeard and others was also very fast. Ling Yun had just finished. Their attacks had arrived. Come and fight. Quote, Ling Yun sensed that the 6 of them attacked at the same time. A hint of coldness flashed across his eyes. But his face was filled with endless fighting spirit. He punched out with his left hand, and blocked it with his right fist. He stomped on the ground hard, and kicked out again with a bang. Thunder was unleashed. Dang. Quote, the left fist collided with Whitebeard's sword, making a sharp sound of metal clashing, and endless black lightning filled the air. Crack, crack, with a cracking sound, the power of Whitebeard's tremor fruit came crashing in. But the power of the tremor fruit was transmitted to Ling Yun, but it did not have much effect. Because Ling Yun himself also has the power of the tremor fruit, and the Nika form after awakening has unparalleled elasticity. It can have extremely strong resistance. Not to mention the obstruction of thunder and 3 color domineering and physical iron blocks. Therefore, the power of the tremor fruit, which is located on Ling Yun, seems to have no effect at all. How is it possible? Nothing is wrong. Whitebeard was stunned and showed a look of shock. At the same time, clang, quote, Ling Yun blocked with his right hand above his head. Blocked Kaido's terrifying attack directly, with a bang. Kaido was directly frozen in the air. But the ground couldn't help but tremble. As the smoke and dust filled the air, endless black lightning spread rapidly. It was as if the surrounding void was torn apart. Boom. The moment it blocked Aokiji, Red Hair, Kizaru and Akainu, the powerful attacks of the 4 of them also came one after another. Boom. With a loud bang, Ling Yun suddenly stepped on the ground. The next moment, the ground was instantly turned into rubber. Like a raging wave, it was lifted high and rushed towards Akainu in front. Boom. A large amount of magma hit the rubber ground, sparks flew, and smoke filled the air. Ha! And Red Hair was still on the right side of Ling Yun. Ling Yun raised his foot. With a bang, it collided with Red Hair's sword. Dang. At this time, countless thunders dissipated. It directly dispersed Aokiji's cold air in an instant. Ling Yun, you are careless. Just at this time, Kizaru's voice sounded from behind. In an instant, Kizaru seized the opportunity and swung the Aim no Murakumo sword in his hand. HMPH, what a joke. Ling Yun sneered in his heart. Under the cover of his observation hockey, no one has been able to sneak attack him successfully. It happened in a split second. Ling Yun's mind moved. Life return. In an instant, Ling Yun's white hair spread rapidly. Flashing with endless thunder, he held the golden sword just now with a wave of his arm. And swung the sword to block it. Dang. The 2 golden swords collided with a bang, causing a strong wind to sweep. What? Kizaru's face suddenly became ugly. He had forgotten it just now. Since Ling Yun has mastered such a profound Navy 6 styles, it is not a surprising thing that he has mastered life return. Boom. However, just this defense alone, Ling Yun's combat ability, made everyone furious. It is said that two fists cannot defeat four hands, but this statement seems to have no effect at all in the face of absolute strength. You know, this is 6 top masters joining forces. They were so easily resisted. HMPH. The 6 masters are still trying their best to suppress Ling Yun. Then no matter how hard they try, they feel like they are facing an indestructible mountain. The weapons in their hands can't move forward at all under Ling Yun's resistance, and they can't be shaken at all. HMPH. Ling Yun snorted lightly, and then sneered. Thor. Sanctions. In an instant, endless thunders blasted away. The extremely dazzling light was thousands of feet, and the terrifying thunder swept across. Boom. With a deafening explosion, Whitebeard and others retreated violently. Quote. All of them were surrounded by arcs of electricity, and at this moment they all felt extremely numb. Even their movements were much slower. The successive explosions also made them look miserable, and their bodies were all charred. Swoosh. However, just as everyone was retreating, Ling Yun suddenly swooped in. He approached directly. The target was Akainu. Because, among the strong men who besieged him this time, only Red Hair and Akainu were injured. Red Hair's injury was new, and Akainu's was an old injury from a while ago, and it must not have healed yet. As for Kaido, he has the fish fruit's mythical beast species blue dragon form, and the injuries he suffered can recover quickly. He must have recovered by now. And it is not easy to kill him. And between Red Hair and Akainu, it should be easier to deal with the newly injured Red Hair. After all, the pain is still there. But Red Hair's character knows how to temporarily avoid the edge. On the other hand, Akainu is extremely unwilling to retreat by nature, and would rather fight you to death. In addition, he hates the Navy more than the pirates. So, he rushed towards Akainu at the first time. Swish. Both fists suddenly bounced back. The next moment, a powerful elastic force came crashing in. Boom. Both fists were surrounded by arcs of electricity, and they directly hit Akainu. Not good. Suddenly, Akainu's face turned pale. Even if he was unwilling, he had to admit that Ling Yun's attack was a great threat to him. Help Sakazuki. Kizaru and Aokiji rushed to take action at the first time. Ice Age. Yashikani no Magatama. At the critical moment, endless cold air emerged. Ling Yun's fist condensed instantly. At the same time, thousands of light bullets shot towards Ling Yun. Quick. Cut. The red-haired man swung his sword vigorously at the same time. A sharp sword energy cut through the earth, directly creating a hideous huge crack. Cutting towards Ling Yun, killing. Whitebeard and Kaido did not stop at the same time. They attacked one after another. HMPH. Because the 5 of them attacked at the same time, Ling Yun had to withdraw his attack to defend. Boom boom boom. The battle on the field was extremely fierce. Ling Yun fought against 6 alone, and only used 2 major fruits. And 3 colors of domineering. With his strong physique and physical skills, he fought evenly with the 6 of them. This had to make many Navy and pirates feel terrified. Too terrible. Yes, how did he achieve this strength? Countless pirates and Navy looked at each other. They never thought that the 4 emperors and the 3 generals, jointly, could not make him show his full strength. After all, everyone knew that Ling Yun still had the power of the tremor fruit. Now we can only fight back. When he uses the 3rd devil fruit ability, the 6 of them will probably be defeated. Zhongguo's face was a little gloomy. Yes, but while protecting yourself, try to consume this guy's power as much as possible. The 5 elders spoke in a deep voice. Well, don't worry, they will. Zhongguo took a deep breath and nodded. This tactic. They had already discussed it. Boom. Red Hair staggered back with a long sword. Whitebeard's face was gloomy. The 3 admirals were all shocked. All looked at Ling Yun, and they all felt a little terrified. Very good. The cooperation between the Navy and the pirates is perfect. Ling Yun showed a playful smile. At the same time, he glanced at the distance with a subtle look. Almost every direction, there are powerful enemies. On the Navy side, Senguo Garp, the 5 elders. On the pirate side, Ben Beckman. These are at least admiral level strength, belonging to the top level strongmen. Can't delay any longer, lest other strongmen rush in. Muttering in his heart, Ling Yun is very clear about his own strength. The current situation is not very favorable for him. If all these strong men surround him, then even if he uses the last power of the devil fruit, it is impossible to kill them. Must seek a chance to kill. A cold murderous intent flashed in his eyes. Ling Yun attacked again. Swish, using the super elasticity of the Nika form and the speed of the thunder fruit. Ling Yun's speed soared. Everyone be careful. At this time, the fastest Kizaru put away his usual slowness and shouted in a hurry. But the next moment, swish boom. Ling Yun's thunder opened up wantonly, sweeping in all directions. Boom. Endless thunder is released. It makes Akainu and others resist repeatedly. 30 million volts Thunderbird, 30 million volts Thunderbeast, 60 million volts Thunderdragon, with Ling Yun's roars. A Thunderbird like a phoenix, a Thunderbeast like a wolf, and a huge Thunderdragon, came out with a bang. They attacked the 3-4 emperors respectively. The moment the Thunderdragon attacked, at the same time, Ling Yun suddenly stomped on the ground. The figure was like an arrow shot out of a string, swooshing out. The target is still Akainu. The faces of the 3 admirals of the Navy changed. I understood Ling Yun's intention at that time. Use Thunderbird, Thunderbeast and Thunderdragon to contain the 3-4 emperors. Then I will deal with Akainu first. Although his attacks could not delay Whitebeard and the others for long. But so what? With Ling Yun's speed, it would only take a few seconds. Boom. Ling Yun in Nika form turned into thunder and appeared behind Akainu in an instant. Stop him quickly. Aokiji and Kizaru's faces changed drastically and hurriedly attacked. However, their attacks came in an instant and were about to hit Ling Yun. The ground was lifted up, directly blocked the attacks of the two and bounced them back. And Ling Yun had already attacked. With his fists, he carried the color of armed and wrapped in the color of domineering. Using the huge elasticity of the sun god Nika, it was almost instantaneous. Ling Yun, sensing the extreme danger, Akainu also roared and attacked. Lava fist. The magma fist with terrifying high temperature crashed down with a bang. However, just when the attacks of both sides were about to collide with each other, Ling Yun raised a cunning arc at the corner of his mouth. Akainu seemed to have discovered something at this moment, and his face suddenly changed. At this moment, he suddenly couldn't sense Ling Yun's breath. It was as if Ling Yun disappeared in front of him. It was the special power mastered by Red Hair knowing kill. Life returns. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Ling Yun shouted softly. Immediately, the hair behind him grew instantly, all covered with armament haki and domineering haki, rushing up like a spirit snake, directly resisting and entangled Akainu's fist. Not good. Akainu looked at the 2 fists bombarding him, his face suddenly changed, and his pupils suddenly shrank into needles. But his fighting instinct was very fast. He immediately used all his strength to try to break free from Ling Yun's grip. However, no matter how hard he tried, his fists could not break free at all, and he could not move even an inch. He could only watch the opponent's attack coming towards him. Akainu, it's over. Ling Yun's eyes flashed with indifference, looking at Akainu, as if looking at a dead person. Iron block, trembling fruit, the biggest round, 6 king's spear. The next moment, his fist slammed into Akainu's chest. Boom. The terrifying power burst out instantly. The already terrifying fists were covered with the power of the Navy's 6 iron blocks in an instant. Then, a series of cracking sounds rang out, and Akainu's chest was instantly cracked. But this is not over yet. The 2 fists that hit Akainu's chest, a powerful shock wave instantly penetrated Akainu. Instantly, Akainu's chest instantly caved in and split. Blood gushed out. Puff. Not good. Whitebeard, Kizaru and others who saw this scene all changed their faces drastically. Boom. The force he suffered was not over yet. The impact of the 6 king's spear was extremely terrifying. Instantly, Akainu was like a broken sack, and was directly smashed on the distant mountain. Boom. Instantly, even the entire mountain collapsed and disintegrated, turning into countless rubble rolling down. Sakazuki. General Sakazuki. Instantly, Kizaru and Aokiji's faces turned extremely pale, and their hearts sank to the bottom of the valley instantly. Countless Navy officers on the Navy side felt a deep chill in their hearts. Zhongguo and the 5 elders looked extremely ugly. Looking at the situation in the distance, they couldn't help but reveal the ferocious veins on their foreheads. Hiss. Countless pirates, Couldn't help but take a breath of cold air, couldn't help but tremble. Is this still human power? He crushed Admiral Akainu with just one blow. I knew he was powerful, but I didn't expect that a great admiral of the Navy couldn't resist this blow. The faces of the pirates were full of horror. They couldn't help but wonder, can this encirclement and suppression really kill this monster? Quote. Did you find it, Red Hair? Whitebeard stared at Lingyun and swallowed hard. He asked. Found it. We should have thought of it earlier. Red Hair's face was ashen, and he couldn't help gritting his teeth. He actually also mastered the observation killing. Kaido was on the side, his eyes and nose couldn't help twitching. Indeed, they should have thought of it earlier. Even Red Hair can have the observation killing. Lingyun's domineering aura, the degree of crushing everyone. How could he not have it? I was careless after all. A trace of cold sweat appeared on Whitebeard's forehead. In fact, Lingyun did not master the power of observation and killing just now. Even Red Hair thought Lingyun did not have it. After all, he was the only one in the world who mastered this power. In addition, Lingyun did not show it before, so they could briefly see Lingyun's future offensive. So they did not think about it. Who knew? If Akainu could pay attention to this, it should be better, at least he would not be so seriously injured. Their observation haki told them that Akainu's breath was still there, but it was extremely weak. He was already in a dying state, ready to die at any time. At this time, if he was not rescued immediately, or any small pirate took action, this famous admiral of the Navy could be put to death. If one person is missing, he will be no match for the 5 of us, and there is no way to compete with him. Kaido gritted his teeth and spoke with difficulty. A great admiral of the Navy is only this level, kill one person first. A cold look flashed in Lingyun's eyes. Immediately, his figure burst out, take advantage of Akainu's serious injury and kill him directly. No, stop him quickly. In an instant, Whitebeard and others suddenly attacked. Lingyun, you've had enough. With a roar, a burly old man on the Navy's warship stomped on the ground. Burst out directly. It was Garp who took action. Boom. In almost an instant, Garp was ejected. Punched directly and brazenly. Boom. Lingyun suddenly turned around, moved his body. Punched directly and brazenly in the air. Boom. The two fists slammed together, bursting out endless black lightning. The wind was howling. Lingyun and Garp both landed steadily on the ground. Garp, are you going to intervene? A flash of surprise flashed across Lingyun's face. Then, his eyes narrowed slightly, revealing a dangerous look. Sorry, Lingyun. Garp shook his head helplessly. As a fellow Navy, I can't watch Sakazuki being killed. Even though there are many differences between him and me. Lingyun sneered when he heard this. It seems that you are right to be called the hero of the Navy. Garp frowned when he heard this, sighed deeply, and said, Lingyun, I don't want to interfere in your fight. As a Navy officer, I can't bear to see my colleagues being killed. Before Garp finished speaking, Lingyun interrupted him coldly. You can't bear to see me, your friend of many years, being killed. Over the years, Lingyun and Garp have a very good relationship. After all, neither of them is interested in the celestial dragons. It can be said that their friendship is even stronger than that between Garp and Sengoku. It's just that, in the face of friendship and justice, Garp chose the so-called justice. Lingyun. Garp was just about to speak. But Lingyun continued. Think of me, General Lingyun, who has no children and has devoted his passion and life to the righteous Navy. But what about the Navy? On the day I retired, they sent 3 admirals to assassinate me. The reason is because I once refused the order of the celestial dragons. How absurd, how ruthless. They can't even wait for a day, and want to wipe me out on the day I retire. Lingyun narrowed his eyes, and endless murderous intent burst out of his eyes. And this, you Garp, the hero of the Navy, why don't you say it? Hearing what Lingyun said, Garp was silent. His face was full of vicissitudes. He opened his mouth, but never answered. He knew what he was thinking. Because he really didn't want to stand on the opposite side of the Navy. This is where he has dedicated his whole life. But, no matter what, he is ultimately ashamed of this longtime friend. HMPH, Lingyun. Seeing that Garp didn't speak, Satan, one of the 5 elders, sneered. He scolded with a sanctimonious face. It's obvious that you have evil ambitions and have been lurking in the Navy for many years just to realize your shocking conspiracy. Otherwise, how can you explain that you have so many abilities that you have never shown when you were the Admiral of the Navy? The old man with the sword also looked sarcastic and continued. That's right, the former Admiral Lingyun was only proficient in observation hockey and physical skills, but never had any devil fruit abilities. Not to mention the 3 devil fruit abilities and the domineering hockey. The blonde old man nodded, followed closely and scolded loudly. So, it's clear that we saw through your motives. Originally, we wanted to leave you a last bit of dignity and preserve your reputation in the world, so we secretly sent 3 generals to wipe you out. Who knew? Your threat level is far beyond our guess. The 5 elders shook their heads. But, today, no matter what, you can't survive anymore, so you'd better surrender early and don't make unnecessary resistance. After hearing what the 5 elders said, Ling Yun sneered. This is not the first time that Ling Yun has experienced the black and white reversal of the power. Forget it, there is no one in this world who is worthy of my Ling Yun's nostalgia and trust, so I won't waste my breath on this. If I have this time, I might as well kill a few more strong men. In between the sneers, Ling Yun's eyes burst out with endless murderous intent. It made everyone present feel like falling into an ice cellar. I couldn't help but tremble. Even the 5 elders secretly felt extremely uneasy. This man must die, shouting wildly in my heart. The 5 elders looked at Zhongguo. Zhongguo. Marshal Zhongguo nodded silently. Understood. He waved his hand. 2 people suddenly walked out of the warship behind. One was wearing flowery pants, with his hands in his pockets, and there was a flower behind him that was flying fast, flying in a rotation. The other one was a burly blind uncle with a cane and an X-shaped scar on his eyes. It was Green Bull and Fujitora. You actually injured Brother Sakazuki and repeatedly disobeyed the orders of the world's god, the celestial dragons. You deserve to die. Green Bull spoke coldly, his eyes full of anger. Is it time for me to appear? And Fujitora just walked slowly. His expression was calm. The 2 of them directly filled the vacancy of Akainu. Surrounded Lingyun. Lingyun, these 2 are the 2 new generals we obtained by recruiting soldiers in the world in advance. You should commit suicide as soon as possible. I will never let you escape again today. Zhongguo looked at this former colleague, walked forward slowly. Looking at Lingyun's extremely complicated face, he couldn't help but sigh deeply. At the same time, red-haired boss, don't worry, Akainu has been rescued by his companions. In the distance, Ben Beckman recovered from some injuries under the treatment of his own ship Dr. Deeg. He walked over directly. Another Admiral-level strongman joined. At this time, Akainu was missing, but Garp, Sengoku, Green Bull, Fujitora, and Ben Beckman were added. With red hair, Kaido, Whitebeard, Kizaru, and Aokiji. They formed a camp of 10 top strongmen. They are all out. These are 10 real-name world top strongmen, and they actually joined forces at this time. Such a terrifying and luxurious camp is just to deal with one person. In this battle, even if this guy is defeated, it is enough to be proud. Yes, where in the world can anyone have the luxurious treatment of 10 top strongmen joining forces to attack? At this time, whether it is a pirate or a navy, all of them felt a chill in their hearts. Because Ling Yun was really too strong. He simply shouldn't be alive in this world. Haha, are you going to attack together? Seeing so many strong men surrounding him directly, Ling Yun's face remained calm. There was only a slight regret in his eyes. He failed to kill Akainu, otherwise he would have been able to obtain a huge amount of system points. Ling Yun, die! With a roar from Green Bull, everyone except Garp aimed at Ling Yun at the same time and attacked brazenly. Boom! Hateful! Instantly, the ground emerged from the countless flowers, plants and trees on the entire island. Green Bull's body merged into the huge trees. Countless vines covered with powerful armed color domineering. Like a ferocious python, stabbing towards Lingyun. Clang! Fujitora smiled and immediately drew out the cane knife in his hand. The next moment, the various boulders around him all floated into the air one after another. Directly like a huge artillery shell, they shot towards Lingyun. And Sengoku, the first time he turned into a huge golden Buddha. It was his devil fruit ability. Human fruit fantasy beast Buddha form. Buddha's impact. Ben Beckman also pulled the trigger at the first time, and countless bullets covered with tyrannical domineering poured out. At the same time, the other strong men also attacked one after another. Frozen time capsule. Jun Chali Long Shungjin. Yashikani no Magatama. Watch the cut. Shock impact. Almost everyone attacked directly, but Garp watched quietly. With a complicated expression. Hee, let's fight. Ling Yun sneered. Faced with so many strong men joining forces, Ling Yun's eyes were full of fighting spirit, and his figure did not retreat but advanced. Moving and turning in an instant. Possessing the speed of the thunder fruit. Plus the powerful rebound force of the sun god Nika form. And the Navy 6 styles shave. Combined with his extremely terrifying physique, his speed has reached an incredible level. All the strong men present, none of them can catch up. Swish. Ling Yun suddenly appeared behind Zongguo and punched hard. Boom. Swish. Boom. Zongguo reacted immediately and turned around to resist. But he couldn't keep up with the speed after all. Plus, how could he resist Ling Yun's strength alone? So, just by meeting him, Zongguo felt the terrifying murderous intent coming at him. There was no way for him to avoid it. Fortunately, there is strength in numbers. When Zongguo just tried to resist Ling Yun, the attacks of others had already arrived. Ling Yun had to dodge. Seeing Ling Yun's attack on him interrupted instantly. Zongguo couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief, and his heart was full of fear. Fortunately, but Ling Yun felt a little uneasy. Ling Yun could still resist the joint attack of 5 or 6 top masters. But with so many, he didn't dare to take it easily, and could only dodge repeatedly. Swish, swish, swish. Ling Yun's figure was so fast that he turned into a series of afterimages. The attacks of many strong men were directly missed. His speed is too fast. I can't hit him at all. Whitebeard couldn't help but grit his teeth and hated secretly. He was shocked. A large-scale attack can be hit, but it has no effect at all. His defense is also extremely powerful. Kizaru, who repeatedly launched Yasukani no Magatama, spoke in shock. The faces of the people became more and more gloomy. Although every attack of Ling Yun was interrupted by many strong men. But, they also failed to do anything to Ling Yun. Kaido's face was ashen. Why can't I hit him? This scene, countless Navy pirates were watching from afar. Everyone was silent, but his eyes were filled with deep fear. With so many top masters joining forces, they still can't do anything to him. Too abnormal. The sound of gasps on the field came one after another. They couldn't help but tremble. Don't worry, his physical strength alone can match that of so many of us. If we continue to fight him, we will be the only ones who will succeed in the end. Zongguo spoke in a deep voice. Stabilize the fear of the crowd. While attacking continuously, the 3 of the 5 elders watched coldly. This guy is really capable. HMPH, the victory is already decided. Ling Yun's defeat is just a matter of time. The old man holding the sword spoke, and the other 2 nodded. Continue to watch quietly, however, as time passed quickly. A day and a night passed. During this period, Ling Yun was indeed attacked several times. But it was not a big deal, his fighting power was still fierce. His speed had not decreased. General Ling Yun, he is already over 60 years old, but his physical fitness is still so strong. Yes, this is a full 9 strong men joining forces, he could actually hold on for so long. Quote. The Navy and pirates were shocked, and couldn't help but exclaim. Sengoku and others attacked at the same time. They also felt extremely scared in their hearts. If there were fewer strong men, it's hard to say who would consume whose physical strength. This physical fitness is simply unheard of. I'm afraid even the so-called immortal monster, Kaido, is not so perverted, right? Kaido's face was also full of anger at this time. Lingyun, it's clear that he is just an old man in his 60s. But, it's okay that the 3-color domineering is stronger than him. The fruit ability is also stronger than him. Even the physical fitness is far better than himself. Who is the strongest creature in the world of sea, land and air? He must die. Kaido shouted wildly in his heart. Quote. Things are a bit bad. Quote. Ling Yun, who was in high-speed maneuvers, also had a bad look on his face. The combined strength of these 9 strong men made it impossible for Ling Yun to launch a counterattack. He could only dodge repeatedly. Although he had enough physical strength to continue fighting, he could at least hold on for 10 days. However, how could he not know the opponent's tactics? It was just that he wanted to fight a round-robin battle. If not, why would he need to bring so many strong men around? There are also a large number of naval elites and pirate strongmen. They are all eyeing him. No, if it continues, I will have no chance to fight back. In the end, I can only be exhausted to death. Ling Yun's thoughts were running fast. So, instead of waiting until the end to exhaust my physical strength and then fight to the death, it is better to launch a decisive kill now while my physical strength is still sufficient. Quote. Ling Yun said to himself as he dodged the joint attacks of the strong men. But there is another way. While moving at high speed, Ling Yun glanced at the distance. There were a large number of naval elites and pirates over there. First kill a large number of these people, exchange for a large number of system points, and then upgrade myself. Quote. Thinking of this, Ling Yun made up his mind. A mad look flashed across his eyes. He was already calculating when to take action. First, I must find a time, so that I can burst out a thunder strike in an instant. Kill a large number of naval or pirates in one fell swoop. Otherwise, when they are prepared later, it will be even more difficult for me to kill these people again. Thinking of this, while resisting the attacks of the crowd, while secretly waiting for the best time. Boom, boom, boom. Following the deafening sound of bombing, this island seemed to be bombed out. The rocks and trees were all destroyed, leaving only a bare ground. Even the ground was full of cracks, pits, and gullies. Everywhere you look, it's full of hideousness. Boom. Crack, crack. With a flick of his hand, he shattered the red-haired sword energy. Ling Yun tapped the ground with his toes, as light as a swallow. He dodged and dodged in various attacks. Swish. However, just after shattering a sharp sword energy, another sword energy shot out from a completely different direction. Ling Yun paused. His face darkened a little. Because the person who made the move was Hawkeye. Hawkeye. Everyone was also surprised. Don't be surprised. My injury is almost healed, and I can join the battle for the time being. Wrapped in gauze, Hawkeye spoke in a deep voice. He is very powerful. If I join the battle, I may be able to comprehend stronger swordsmanship. Hawkeye's eyes were full of fighting spirit, and he walked slowly with a black knife in his hand. Another strong man joined. Hawkeye is the world's #1 swordsman. His strength is no less than that of the general. Ahem, and me. Suddenly, Tesoro also walked down from the Navy warship. His face was a little sickly pale, but he also looked like he had the strength to fight. HMPH, you hurt me, I'm going to kill you. Weeble rushed over from a distance. However, just when everyone was surprised, another familiar voice sounded. Only Akainu's roar came. Lingyun, I'm going to kill you. Wrapped in bandages, Akainu strode forward. It's Admiral Sakaski. Admiral Sakaski, isn't he seriously injured? How could it be? The moment the Navy soldiers saw Akainu, they were ecstatic. But at the same time, they were also confused. In theory, not only Akainu, but also Hawkeye, Tesoro, and Weevil. They were already seriously injured by Lingyun and were on the verge of death. How could they suddenly regain their combat power? He. Brother Sakaski, you finally woke up. Green Bull laughed. Lingyun frowned. The next moment, he looked at Tyrant Bear in the distance. I saw Tyrant Bear looking at me from afar. With a calm expression, he spoke softly. Sorry, Lingyun, this is what the world government asked me to do. Tyrant Bear's voice was not loud. But after Lingyun used his powerful observation haki with the help of the Thunder Fruit, he could also hear his words clearly. Tyrant Bear, I should have dealt with you immediately. I was careless. Ling Yun looked at Tyrant Bear, as well as Dejay of the Red Hair Pirates and Marco of the Whitebeard Pirates, and showed a cold smile. It turned out that it was Tyrant Bear who took action to knock out all the injuries, pain, and fatigue in their bodies. First, pull them out of the dying state. Then hand them over to Dejay, the ship doctor of the 4 Emperor's Red Hair Pirates, and Marco, the Phoenix of the Whitebeard Pirates. cooperate with the major doctors and super advanced medical equipment brought by the Navy to treat them together, without most of the injuries and fatigue. Then they regained their fighting power. Among them, the most critical step is this step of Tyrant Bear. If it weren't for him, even if the other people's medical skills were amazing, they would not be able to gain fighting power in a short time. At most, it would ensure that they would not die. Looking at Lingyun, Tyrant Bear's eyes remained calm. He turned his head to the 5 elders and spoke softly. My ability is not unlimited. World government, I have done what you asked me to do. I hope you will keep your promise. I will go to the side to rest first. After that, Tyrant Bear dragged his heavy steps and walked away. HMPH. The 5 elders snorted coldly. Looking at Tyrant Bear's back, a chill flashed in his eyes. But it soon disappeared. Looking at Lingyun again, said coldly, everyone, leave him behind completely. In addition, all the 7 warlords, assist in the battle. As soon as the voice fell, everyone attacked brazenly. This time, their confidence was even greater. Meteor Volcano. Akainu was angry, and his anger poured out with his attack. Kill. Hawkeye also slashed out. Tesoro once again controlled the large amount of gold scattered on the island, reunited into a golden giant. And Wybiel, holding a big knife, waving it quickly. Various sharp sword auras tore the ground. Sea current over the shoulder. At the same time, Jinbei, who was unconscious on the bottom of the sea, also woke up. Various strong men attacked one after another. General Lingyun. The Empress looked at the crazy Lingyun, and a worry flashed in her eyes. Pretending to attack. Hulala, this Lingyun is really powerful. Whitebeard laughed, with a trace of regret in his eyes. Such a strong man, it's a pity that he will die here today. If he didn't have to take action, he, Whitebeard, really didn't want to see Lingyun being besieged and killed. However, Ace was in the hands of the Navy, so he had to join forces to kill Lingyun. Of course, in his heart, he was also very afraid of Lingyun. After all, his strength is too terrifying. If I were to meet him alone, I would have absolutely no chance. I would only be crushed and killed. Boom. The roars resounded. Lingyun now only had the chance to dodge and occasionally defend. He had no time to fight back. He even got slightly injured during the period. We can't drag it on any longer. Now, the Navy has 1 admiral and 5 admirals. 3-4 emperors, plus admiral-level warriors like Ben Beckman and Hawkeye. It is already a huge threat to Lingyun. If you are not careful, you will be doomed. Thinking of this, Lingyun looked at the Navy and pirates in the distance. There was still some distance between them. They were the Navy fleet. Whitebeard pirates, the large fleet. The 100 Beasts pirates, the large fleet. Among them, the Navy fleet had the largest number of people. Above, there stood a large number of naval elites. Then attack the Navy, kill most of the naval elites in one fell swoop, and then attack the nearest large fleet of the Beast pirates at lightning speed. Just thinking. Suddenly, gravity suppression. Boom. In an instant, Lingyun's body seemed to be carrying a huge mountain, which made his speed suddenly slow down. Take advantage of now. Zhongguo saw this and shouted immediately. For a moment, everyone seized this opportunity. And all of them used all their skills, and all kinds of attacks bombarded Lingyun like an overwhelming force. Tangle him up for me. Green Bull shouted coldly, and several vines burst out from the ground. Directly entangled Lingyun. Aokiji was also very fast, and raised his big hand. The bone-chilling coldness instantly surged into Lingyun's body, freezing Lingyun completely. As for the others, Red Hair and Hawkeye immediately slashed out with terrifying sword energy. Wei Boer and Whitebeard swung out sharp sword energy at the same time, but Whitebeard's attack was covered with the power of the tremor fruit. Ben Beckman pulled the trigger frantically, and countless bullets poured out. And Sengoku just slapped his palm. A Buddha's impact swept across. Yashikani no Magatama. Meteor Volcano. Golden Karma Fire. Sea Current Shoulder Throw. In an instant, countless attacks came crashing down. Not good. Lingyun's face changed, and the power of the Gen fruit surged wildly all over his body. The ice frozen on his body and the various vines wrapped around his feet all broke apart instantly. Then, Lingyun endured the huge gravity and punched the sky. Crack. accompanied by a sound of breaking through the air and a loud explosion. Countless cracks spread in the air above Ling Yun's head. Crack, boom, the attacks and cracks from all sides collided suddenly, and they were instantly shattered. But after all, they attacked together, and the combined power has exceeded the level that Ling Yun can resist with the Gen fruit. Immediately, countless attacks continued to come. Thor, the terrifying thunder blasted away instantly, sweeping around Ling Yun. Directly took on most of the attack again. Finally, the remaining part hit Ling Yun. With the defense of armament hockey, domineering hockey, and the Navy 6 style iron block, Ling Yun's body trembled violently. With a dull sound, blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. Feeling the churning of blood in his body, Ling Yun quickly wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. His figure swept away. He wanted to get out of Fujitora's gravity control area as soon as possible. Where to escape? However, Fujitora knew very well that he had finally caught this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. How could he easily let Ling Yun escape from his gravity range? Okay, in that case. Seeing this, Ling Yun's eyes flashed with a fierce look. And he immediately punched the ground. Suddenly, the ground instantly turned into rubber and was lifted up high by Ling Yun. Boom, a giant rubber hand formed by the ground suddenly emerged from the ground. It grabbed Fujitora directly. Not good. Fujitora's face changed. And he quickly jumped up, while swinging the staff knife in his hand. Boom, the giant rubber hand was instantly cut into two parts. Fujitora dodged it nimbly, but it was also because of this that Ling Yun also took this opportunity to escape his gravity range. Ahem, Ling Yun coughed twice, and his face looked a little ugly. Everyone, he is already injured. Hang on, be careful not to let him escape, we will definitely kill him. Zhang said in a deep voice. Take action. As soon as the voice fell, the offensive from all directions came, forcing Ling Yun to dodge again and again. In the following attacks, Ling Yun tried to seize the opportunity to break out of the encirclement several times, to kill a large number of naval elites, but they were surrounded and blocked by them. As time passed, Ling Yun's injuries became more and more serious, and his physical strength was obviously reduced. I can't drag it on any longer, I can only force it. Endless madness emerged in his eyes. At the risk of injury, use that trick. He said in his heart, waiting for the last chance to attack. It's been so long, so many people have joined forces, but they haven't been able to take this guy down. Satan looked dissatisfied. It was obvious that Ling Yun was injured, but he was still very strong. It was as if he was a cockroach that could not be killed, making it difficult for them to kill him in a short time. Maybe, with more strong men, we can kill him as soon as possible. The old man holding the sword spoke in a deep voice. Yes. The blonde old man looked at Garp, who was standing still. Garp, why don't you make a move? Satan and the old man holding the sword also looked over, with a hint of displeasure on their faces. Ling Yun was at the end of his rope now. If Garp was added, he would surely be able to kill Ling Yun. Ling Yun's monster strength made them feel a little scared. They dared not relax for a moment unless they saw him die with their own eyes. Humph, I'm just a lieutenant general. I don't even need to face the orders of your world government. Garp glanced at the five elders coldly. He answered without mercy. You. The five elders immediately showed a look of anger. Even their eyes were filled with hidden murderous intent. Haha, Garp, are you still pretending to be so hypocritical? While Ling Yun was dodging, he also let out a playful sneer. Ling Yun. Garp frowned. He spoke solemnly. No matter who is against you, no matter whether you can escape or not, as long as you don't endanger the lives of the Navy, I don't care. This is the only thing I can do for you, my friend. Garp. Zhang Guo's face was gloomy and he shouted coldly. He was obviously dissatisfied with Garp's words. Ha 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 ha, very good. Unexpectedly, hearing what Garp said, Ling Yun suddenly stopped. Then, I may disappoint you, Garp. Suddenly, Ling Yun's eyes turned cold. He clapped his hands directly. Life returns. In an instant, Ling Yun's hair grew out rapidly, flying wildly in the wind. On it, there was also a strong domineering aura, as well as the power of rubber and thunder, forcibly resisting the attacks of everyone. But, his hands suddenly became claws. Destroy it. With a roar, Ling Yun suddenly activated the power of the tremor fruit. Not good. He is planning to. Whitebeard looked at this familiar move and his face changed instantly. However, it was too late. The next moment, a series of cracking sounds rang out. The whole world was torn apart, and the seawater seemed to be divided into areas. Raging and tilting. In the blink of an eye, the seawater rolled and turned directly into a terrifying super tsunami. It slammed towards this piece of heaven and earth. Not good. Ice Age. Aokiji's face suddenly changed drastically, and he hurriedly wanted to use his own moves. But there was only a whoosh. Ling Yun actually appeared on top of his head. The long hair behind him forcibly resisted the offensive of others under the effect of life return, risking serious injury, and launched an attack on Aokiji. Thunder Hammer. The strongest fusion attack containing all the domineering physical skills of his fruit. Slammed down on Aokiji. Chapter 51. Boom. The sound of breaking through the air roared. Kizaru's laser shot directly at Aokiji's body. At the critical moment, he twisted Aokiji's body by force. Boom. Ah. In an instant, a scream that was extremely shrill suddenly sounded. Aokiji. Everyone's face suddenly changed drastically. Because Aokiji's entire arm had turned into nothingness. The broken arm was charred black, and the original flesh and blood could no longer be seen. His whole face was extremely pale. He covered his broken arm and curled up on the ground. Cold sweat trickled down his forehead. It was obvious that he was enduring great pain. I actually let you escape. Ling Yun's body shook. The attacks from behind all hit his back, making Ling Yun suddenly spit out a large mouthful of blood. But this did not stop him. Instead, his face was filled with endless madness. The previous attack, if it had not deflected, if it had hit Aokiji's head, Aokiji would have been dead now. Aokiji, die. He once again used his strongest killing move, the Thunder Hammer. The thunder and the thunder fruit merged into the fist of the sun god Nika, and then merged with the impact of the Six Kings Spear, the largest wheel of the 6 styles of the navy. Coordinated with the strongest killing move performed by the 3-color domineering. Stop him quickly. Quote. Zhongguo and others' faces changed drastically. Hurry up and stop him. Boom. Buddha's impact. Zhongguo waved his palm, trying to attack Ling Yun and force him to defend. But Zhongguo was instantly terrified, seeing that Ling Yun, in addition to covering himself with armament haki and domineering haki, only let his long hair, which had returned his life, defend himself. The rest actually wanted to use his body to resist forcefully, which was a way of exchanging injuries for injuries. He wanted to kill Aokiji directly. Hell dog. Akainu also looked anxious, and wanted to forcefully attack Ling Yun. Now that Aokiji was too close to him, he had no power to defend himself, and he did not dare to directly launch a large-scale attack with Meteor Mountain. Whitebeard and others were the same. All of them hurried to rescue Aokiji. But, boom, not good. The tsunami is coming. Go. Suddenly, a terrified cry came. Zhongguo instantly felt like he was falling into an ice cave. So, this is the plan. First, he would seriously injure Aokiji by exchanging injuries for injuries, so that he could not freeze the seawater. Then, with the help of the backflow of seawater, when most of them had to flee, he would forcefully kill some of them. Is this your plan, Lingyun? Zhongguo was furious for a moment. Boom. The terrifying tsunami suddenly came down, sweeping towards this piece of heaven and earth. Many strong men who were about to attack Lingyun changed their faces and quickly flew up. Swoosh. Marco immediately transformed into the form of a phoenix, flew away directly, flying to high altitude with Whitebeard. The green bull vines instantly entangled Fujitora, and the flowers behind him quickly rotated and flew into the air. Kaido also immediately transformed into a huge blue dragon and flew into the sky. As for the rest, they couldn't escape immediately. Akainu was unwilling to give up this best chance to kill Lingyun, and Sengoku was anxious to rescue Aokiji. Boom. However, at the moment when the seawater was overwhelming, Lingyun moved. Swish. The whole person burst out from the middle of the tsunami that was hitting from both sides. Boom. Akainu's body shook, and his heart sank to the bottom of the valley instantly. In order to kill Lingyun, he didn't choose to leave immediately. And now Lingyun ran away, he didn't have Lingyun's speed to escape. Borsellino, catch it, and Sengoku leaned over and grabbed Aokiji. And threw him high to Kizaru. Yes, Kizaru understood immediately. And immediately turned into a stream of light and went towards Aokiji. Not good, get out of the way. However, just when Kizaru was about to receive Aokiji's attack, Lingyun's face suddenly appeared behind him. A pair of cold eyes were staring at him, as if he was looking at a dead person. I knew it would be like this. Kizaru, you go first. The corner of his mouth slightly raised, revealing a cruel look. Lingyun punched out. Thunder hammer. Boom. With a roar and a cracking sound, Lingyun's fist smashed out brazenly. Lingyun, don't even think about it. But, at this moment, another figure burst out from the ground. It was Garp again. Garp, it's too late, collect the body for Kizaru. Lingyun sneered and attacked suddenly. However, another roar came. It's not that easy to kill our Admiral. Lingyun's face changed slightly. This voice, Kongu Kong. Turning his head, he saw an extremely burly old man suddenly attacking. This is his former boss, now the commander-in-chief of the three armies, Kongu Kong. Bang! A punch was thrown, but it didn't hit Lingyun. But hit Kizaru, causing Kizaru to fly backwards like a cannonball in an instant. Immediately afterwards, twisted his body in the air, changed his fist to his foot, and hit with a hook kick. Lingyun and Garp, at this time, and Kong Gukong were one in front and one behind. They also punched out. Lingyun snorted coldly, and immediately twisted his body, and punched out with both fists. Boom! Instantly, the wind howled. The black lightning spread violently. Puff! Kong Gukong and Garp were shocked at the same time. They spit out a mouthful of blood. Die! Lingyun's eyes turned cold. And he used his killing move on the two. However, suddenly a vine attacked from the ground. It instantly hid Lingyun's feet, and pulled him down violently. Swoosh! Lingyun was pulled down directly and returned to the island that was about to be covered by the sea. Good. The faces of the five elders were overjoyed. Ha 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 ha, you shot yourself in the foot. You originally wanted to use the seawater to deal with the ability users on our side, but you didn't expect to get yourself into trouble. Everyone, get ready. When the seawater is about to dissipate, immediately attack and kill Lingyun together. Yes, everyone was shocked. Boom! Lingyun returned to the ground. And Kong and Garp also landed steadily. The moment he landed, Kong rushed towards Lingyun. He is not an ability user, and he is not afraid of seawater. Also present were Red Hair, Ben Beckman, Hawkeye, and Weevil. As well as Akainu and Sengoku, who did not have time to run away. They all surrounded him, not letting Lingyun escape. Lingyun, you can't escape this time. Looking at the terrifying tsunamis invading from both sides, Sengoku spoke in a deep voice. The surrounded Lingyun chuckled. Looking at the tsunami roaring, he spoke slowly. How do you know that all this is not in my plan? It's just a pity that I couldn't kill Aokiji. The corners of his mouth slightly raised, revealing a ferocious smile. The next moment, endless thunder was released from Lingyun's body. Everyone, hold on tight and stabilize your body immediately. The officers on the major naval warships and pirate ships spoke hurriedly. The terrifying power of the tsunami was resisted by the officers. They only needed to ensure that they would not be drowned and washed away by the sea water. Yes, many naval elites and pirate officers hurriedly stabilized their bodies. However, at this moment, boom, endless thunder burst out on the island. Seeing this scene, the five elders suddenly had a bad premonition. Not good. The blonde old man was the first to react, but it was too late. I saw the sea water splashing on their large warships. At the same time, when the sea water touched Lingyun, the countless thunders on Lingyun's body instantly spread in the sea water. Zilla zilla. The terrifying electric current instantly spread rapidly through the sea water. The pirates and navy who had stabilized their bodies instantly suffered a heavy blow. They all shook and loosened their hands. Then, the whole person was taken away by the terrifying tsunami. Puff! Blood spurted out. Boom! The terrifying tsunami rolled violently. In just a few breaths, the sea water retreated again. But on the major pirate ships and naval warships, Many people were missing directly. Ding, successfully killed Rear Admiral Mond, and obtained 100 system points. Ding, successfully killed the Great Pirate Harry, and obtained 120 system points. Ding, successfully killed the Great Pirate Thorndyke, and obtained 98 system points. Ding, continuous mechanical sounds came. It rang for a total of 29 times. A total of 3,669 system points were obtained. Quote. It's a bit unexpected, the number of people is relatively small. When the sea water dispersed, Ling Yun's feet were like nails, deeply rooted in the ground. His face was a little gloomy. In fact, the number of people killed was not small, or even very large. After counting carefully, there were at least thousands of people. However, there were very few people who were strong enough to be at the level of Vice Admiral of the Navy Branch and Major Admiral of the Headquarters high-ranking pirate cadres. So this led to the killing of only 29 people. No. A sharp light flashed in Ling Yun's eyes. We must attack immediately. Otherwise, when many strong men attack again together, there will be no way to turn the tables. In a flash, Ling Yun's thoughts flashed through his mind. The next moment, he turned into thunder and soared into the air. Not good. He wants to escape. Gang Gukong's face suddenly sank, and he roared in anger. Stop him. Except for Garp, who was supporting Sengoku, the others hurriedly chased after him. We can't let him escape. The 5 elders shouted angrily, urging him again and again. However, Ling Yun's speed was extremely fast. He turned directly into a stream of light and passed by in an instant. He was heading towards the Beast's pirates. Because Ling Yun saw that the Beast's pirates had gathered the 6 flying cells, Plague Queen, and Flame King. This was not available on other naval warships and pirate ships. The captains of the Whitebeard pirates also separated at this time. So of course the Beast's pirates were the first choice. They can all be killed in one move. Swoosh. King, Queen, stop him. Kaido chased after him quickly. Everyone thought Ling Yun wanted to escape, and Kaido naturally didn't think of this aspect, so he subconsciously asked Jin and Quinn to stop him and slow down Ling Yun's escape. Yes, Jin replied, and the next moment he changed his body shape and drew a pteranodon. A pair of black wings were swirling with flames, and he flapped his wings to interfere with Ling Yun's long-range attack. However, Ling Yun looked at Jin with indifferent eyes, as if he was looking at a dead person. He swooped down. Suddenly, Jin was frightened and broke into a cold sweat. He exclaimed, "No, run away." He realized at this moment that Ling Yun didn't want to escape. He wanted to kill himself and others. Swoosh, subconsciously, Jin took off and quickly spread his wings to escape. But Quinn behind him obviously didn't react. Of course, even if he had, he couldn't run away that fast. Like Quinn, there are also 6 flying cells and many subordinates. Lingyun, you dare. Seeing Lingyun's actions, Kaido, who was originally chasing him, suddenly looked furious, and there was a strong anxiety in his eyes. On this ship, all his most strong cadres. Drought Jack died a long time ago. If the people on this ship die again, then he has no other powerful subordinates except Jin. Quick, attack! Zongguo and others roared. Immediately, everyone attacked. Various magma, laser, sword energy, knife energy, shock waves, came with a bang. However, after hearing the roar of Kaido and others, and the terrifying attack from behind, Ling Yun did not pause at all, and flew over the beast pirates alone. Thunder Hammer. Immediately, Ling Yun stretched his right fist behind him. The next moment, with a sound of breaking through the air, his right fist suddenly became huge, carrying the power of the Tremor fruit and the Thunder fruit, domineering. The strongest killing move, which is a combination of various means, came with a bang. Boom! Looking at this huge fist coming at them, 6 flying cells and Quinn knew that they could not escape with their own speed, so they could only desperately use their strongest moves to protect themselves. However, under this terrifying offensive comparable to the power of heaven, their attacks seemed to be in vain. Not even a little bit of resistance worked. It's over. The pupils reflected the rapidly enlarged giant fist. Their faces were extremely pale, and their eyes were filled with deep despair. The next moment, boom, with a deafening explosion, the giant fist collided with the ship. In an instant, the wind whistled, and lightning and thunder rang out. Quinn, 6 flying cells. Kaido behind him watched this scene with his eyes wide open, and his eyes were immediately bloodshot. These are his men who have followed him for a long time. Unexpectedly, they died at the hands of Ling Yun. No one thought that they could survive Ling Yun's attack, because even they did not have such confidence. And Ling Yun, at this time, was enjoying the wonderful prompt sound coming from his mind. Ding, successfully killed Plague Quinn of the Beast's pirates, and obtained 3,000 system points. Ding, successfully killed Fazaf of the Beast's pirates, and obtained 150 system points. Ding, successfully killed Black Maria of the Beast's pirates. Mechanical sounds rang out one after another, watching the system points break through to 7,000 in an instant. Ling Yun, who was bombarded by various attacks, laughed up to the sky. Shouted directly in his heart. Activate the 4th devil fruit. Ding, consume attribute points, successfully open the 4th devil fruit ability. Obtain devil fruit ability, flame fruit. Ding, consume attribute points, successfully upgrade the flame fruit to the maximum level awakened. Almost instantly, violent flames accompanied by thunder and cracks in the atmosphere appeared out of thin air around Ling Yun. Activate the 4th devil fruit ability, and the strength will soar again. Behind him, all kinds of magma, lasers, sword energy, knife energy, and shock waves slammed into Ling Yun, who was like a sun. The terrifying power shock turned into a sky full of flames and swept in all directions. Everyone was sweating as they watched this scene. This is finally effective. He is still willing to kill those people by exchanging injuries for injuries. Monster. This monster. At this time, Kong Kong, Garp, Sengoku, Kizaru, the 5 elders, and the pirates all found that the thunder and fire behind the fire still existed. In the heat wave, Ling Yun was not hurt at all, and now a new power appeared on the white figure. Flame. The white figure stepped into the void, and the mist-like air flow swirled between his arms. Lightning and flames intersected and flowed around his body, and the shattered atmosphere showed Ling Yun's terrifying ability at the moment. The 4th type. The 4th ability. On the surrounding warships and pirate ships, some people couldn't help but screamed in disbelief. Another natural system has erupted. What kind of monster is he? How many abilities are hidden and have not been revealed? That's the power of the flame fruit. Everyone was shocked by the ability that appeared on Ling Yun again. Come on, let's continue. Ha 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 ha. The injection of the natural system fruit ability gave Ling Yun a huge supplement, and the full explosive physical strength made him laugh uncontrollably. Fighting to support fighting is his best choice. Now that he has gathered the abilities of the 4 major fruits, his power is much stronger than before. Another top-notch fruit ability. Gangji Yukong bit his back teeth tightly, his eyes revealing shock. Why does Ling Yun not only break the rules of fruit ability, but also have so many terrifying abilities? Ling Yun. Garp's eyes were solemn and complicated, and he clenched his fists tightly. Possessing 3 abilities is already extremely powerful, but such a terrifying existence was forced to the opposite side by the world government, resulting in the current uncontrollable situation. How many abilities does he still have hidden? Zhongguo, Huang Yuan and others looked even more ugly, staring at Ling Yun with murderous aura, and their hearts were full of shock. Could it be that he still has countless abilities? What is going on? 3 abilities, 4 abilities. Each one is still so top-notch. The more you fight, the more terrifying it is. Today, we must kill him here no matter what. The pupils of the 5 elders were shaking, and they gritted their teeth and said fiercely. The Nika fruit is already an ability that makes them extremely fearful. The tremor fruit and the thunder fruit are both top-notch, and now the flame fruit has appeared. It is completely possible to feel that Ling Yun's momentum is even more terrifying than before. Even in the Battle of the Valley of the Gods that year, Rox was far inferior to the Ling Yun in front of him. Monster. This is a real monster. Quinn and his men died in front of Jin. After escaping with their lives hanging by a thread, they were full of fear and hid behind Kaido without any intention to fight. He was scared out of his wits. At this time, Ling Yun's voice had not yet fallen. Asshole! Kaido roared in anger, and the huge blue dragon that he turned into was surrounded by the domineering aura of the king, and black lightning exploded. Fire Dragon Torch. The flames that were larger than his body formed armor covering his entire body, and with the power of domineering, he actually rushed towards Ling Yun first. Seeing Kaido attacking first, knowing that Ling Yun was too strong for just a few people to fight, everyone immediately took action. The admirals of the navy, Garp, Steel Bone Kong, and Sengoku all took action, and several terrifying attacks were brewing in the air. Whitebeard, Red Hair Shanks, Hawkeye Mihawk, Beckman and others followed closely with cold sweat. As soon as everyone's attack momentum came up, the surrounding space seemed to be shaking just by the lingering domineering aura. In the gray sky, the clouds were in chaos, and wisps of electric snakes flashed, some even fell directly into the thunder around Ling Yun. Quick, retreat. On the warship, the vice admirals of the navy commanded the ship to continue to retreat. Seeing that the battle escalated again, the terrifying power was not something they could resist at all, otherwise they would be caught by Ling Yun and killed in large numbers as before. Now in a battle, without the strength of a vice admiral, one cannot even step onto the stage. Even a vice admiral level will be killed instantly in front of Ling Yun. The sword energy, the flames, and the domineering scene are reflected in Ling Yun's strange pupils in the Nika state. Facing the surging attack, Ling Yun's body began to expand rapidly, more terrifying and huge than the great Buddha form of the Warring States period and Kaido's fire dragon torch. The terrifying figure that went straight into the sky immediately burst out with the power of thunder and fire, like a real sun god. The water vapor on the island under his feet evaporated and dried quickly, and turned into red land under the spread of thunder and lightning. Ling Yun stretched out his hand and grabbed it, and directly deformed the fire dragon torch on Kaido's surface. The flames were like a doll in Ling Yun's hands, and his hands then turned into a scorching ball of light. This was the result of the fusion of the power of thunder and fire. Immediately, Kaido screamed, and was actually picked up by Ling Yun and smashed towards the attacks of everyone. What kind of monster is this? He actually has enough physical strength to become so huge to fight. The five elders couldn't help but sweat on their foreheads, and they gritted their teeth. Everyone was shocked. Watching Kaido being swung up, Ling Yun is now much stronger. Kaido was swung up, and was grabbed by Ling Yun and screamed. The power of the light bursting from his palm was too terrifying. Kaido, who is known as the strongest creature in the world, couldn't withstand the power of the sun. His blue scales were burned red, and now he was being swung directly by Ling Yun to attack others. Kaido, who was helpless, used all his strength to change his form, and even used the power of the flame cloud to pull his body out at the critical moment. Hey, it's quite slippery. Ling Yun sneered, and now he only had a huge fire dragon shell in his hand. As he swung his palm down, it collided with the attacks of the navy, red-haired, white-bearded and other strong men. The terrifying shock wave accompanied by lightning and flame fragments instantly swept the surrounding 5-kilometer sea area. A large number of waves rolled in all directions, and the evaporating water vapor swept across, and the island cracked. Kaido shot towards the distant sky like a cannonball, and when he looked back, he could not help but tremble when he saw the flames blooming in the center of the battle. Ling Yun, too scary. On the surrounding warships and pirate ships, even the Red Hair pirates and the Whitebeard pirates were unable to participate in the battle. They could only watch, and their hearts were shocked and beyond words. Facing Kaido, Whitebeard, Red Hair, Garp, Steel Bone Kong, Sengoku, Kizaru, Green Bull, Fujitora, and Hawkeye, 9 strong men, he almost injured Kaido directly. Ling Yun's majestic body exuded a dazzling light, thunder and fire, and white mist flowed, which was really as terrifying as a god descending to the world. The aftermath passed quickly, and the 8 people organized their combat power again. Now Ling Yun, who had activated the 4th Devil Fruit ability, had a certain counterattack power. He had long planned to take the opportunity to launch a strong attack, and raised his right fist high. He actually extended his fist backwards under his giant body, and his fist was still getting bigger. Garp, Sengoku, Steel Bone Kong, and even Whitebeard, Red Hair, and others suddenly had their pupils contracted, and shouted to attack. Ling Yun just used such a move to severely injure Aokiji and Akainu. Now it is so huge that if it is not defended, I am afraid that even the fleet behind will be gone. However, Ling Yun is also thinking of this. Before, the 3 fruit abilities were not powerful enough to fight against them head-on, but now with the power of the flame fruit, the combination of thunder and fire is not as simple as 1+1 improvement. As the fist extending backwards becomes larger, thunder and flames surround it, and cracks in the atmosphere appear densely. This is an enhanced version of the thunder and fire hammer. Hurry up and attack. Don't let him hit this punch. The 5 elders shouted again, and the silent Satan Saint took off his suit directly. Steel Bone Kong, Garp's Iron Fist, Sengoku's Buddha Impact, Red Hair's Divine Avoidance, Hawkeye's Slash, Whitebeard's Vibration Tearing. Yellow Monkey, Green Bull, and Fujitora's combined abilities exploded, lasers and gravity impacted, vines spread. Ling Yun's eyes were solemn. After the 4th ability was added, he seemed arrogant, but in fact he was not careless at all. This punch also poured out enough fierce power and hit them head-on. Like the dazzling light of the sun, the domineering and ability intertwined into a terrifying power. The lightning and atmospheric cracks brought out directly tore the ground of the islands along the way below, like a planetary collision. The combined power of the 9 strong men was also extremely fierce, and the powerful entanglement collided with Ling Yun's fist. Run! Run farther! The commander on the Navy warship issued a horrified shout that was still echoing. The next moment, it was covered by the terrifying collision and impact, and the air wave overturned the sea. The ground of the island was annihilated layer by layer, and the terrifying domineering conflict between the 2 sides caused a huge hole in the sky. The world seemed to have quieted down, and all the sounds disappeared in everyone's ears. Only the splendor of thunder and fire and the huge figure and 9 figures were seen in the exploding power. Earth shaking. This powerful impact alone overturned the nearest warships and pirate ships. Ling Yun's fist was dozens of meters away from the 9 strong men of the Navy and pirates. This was a long-distance collision caused by the domineering aura. How could he repeatedly strengthen to this extent? The faces of the 5 elders were extremely ugly. Never expected that such a lineup would be brought today, and Ling Yun would fight in such a tragic situation in such a predicament. The Navy and pirates joined forces, which can be called an unprecedented lineup, but it is still not as powerful as Ling Yun alone. How terrifying, what a monster. Hancock, Golden Emperor, Tyrant Bear, Whitebeard II and other 7 warlords of the sea were shocked by the violent collision. Isn't he going to be exhausted? Isn't he going to flee? How can he still have such amazing power? Completely different from the previous state, is this the so-called exhaustion? In fact, the opponent was under great pressure to fight, and Ling Yun was also not relaxed, staring at the explosion ahead. Isn't the 4th awakening of the ability enough to confront them head-on? Ling Yun actually had the idea of taking risks when using this state, as long as he could create a chance to kill. As long as there is a chance to kill anyone of Kaido's level, he can continue to increase his strength. But obviously, even the Thunder Fire Hammer can hold on, but the addition of the 4th ability also makes him have the strength to fight against each other, unlike the previous critical situation. The strong collision lasted for a long time before the 2 sides suddenly separated. Yellow Monkey, Fujitora, and Green Bull couldn't help but breathe hard, and their energy consumption was actually quite high. Whitebeard, Red Hair, Kaido and others gritted their teeth and adjusted their breath. Suddenly, Ling Yun, who had retracted his huge fist like the sun, looked aside with a serious look. The 5 elders who took off his suit, Saint Satan, actually broke into the battlefield. 5 elders. Finally he's going to make a move. The Golden Emperor, Whitebeard II and other 7 warlords of the sea and the Navy pirates all noticed the 5 elders on the battlefield and were surprised. Saint Satan, who came into the battlefield, clasped his fists and rushed towards Ling Yun like a cannonball the next second. During this process, his body kept getting bigger. Even his skin became more brown, yellow and black. What surprised everyone even more was that Saint Satan, the 5 elders, suddenly became the same giant form as Ling Yun at this time during his rapid enlargement. Titan form. It is also a fruit ability with the title of God. Garp, Sengoku, Kong Gangu, Whitebeard, Red Hair and others can recognize it, and their expressions are extremely surprised. The strength of any one of the 5 elders is far stronger than imagined, at least no worse than the 4 emperors. This is one of Mary Geoise's confidence. This is even more true for Saint Satan now. Realizing how powerful Ling Yun is at this moment, he decisively chose to take action. Ling Yun grinned coldly and punched back without hesitation. 2 huge figures, one yellow and one white, collided in the air on the island. The collision between the domineering color and the ability. The devastated island ground was crumbling, and the impact of the force made the mud and gravel float. Obviously, Ling Yun's strength and ability are stronger than Saint Satan in Titan form. Thunder, burning, shaking and Nika form are far more powerful than his Titan form as the god of the earth. After the blow, Saint Satan actually retreated repeatedly, and one of his huge feet retreated into the sea. Hurry up, besiege him, the remaining 5 elders roared. If we don't take this opportunity to fight in a group, what are we waiting for? I didn't expect the 5 elders to be so powerful. I knew it was not simple, but I didn't expect. This is the 5 elders openly showing their strength, and it is the fruit ability of the Titan form, which can resist Ling Yun with 4 abilities. Just look at Kaido's screams when he was pinched just now, and you will know how terrifying and powerful Ling Yun is now. Everyone can't help but be surprised at the power of the 5 elders. The 7 warlords of the sea, the navy and the pirates on the warships, all of them were stunned and excited. Even if they were defeated by one punch, at least they resisted Ling Yun, this terrifying guy. If they were besieged, even if Ling Yun is so powerful now, there is still hope. This is indeed the case. Hurry up. At this time, the voice of the blonde old man came. 9 strong men including Kong Gukong, Sengoku, Kizaru, Green Bull and others immediately cooperated to attack. Ling Yun's expression also became ugly. The 5 elders were so powerful, especially the Titan power that Satan Saint had released now could resist him a little. 9 people plus Satan Saint could really gain the upper hand again. Let's see how he can resist the combined efforts of 10 strong men. Even if we have to fight, we can kill him. But we can't let Ling Yun kill other people. The injured Aokiji, Akainu and the navy all had their eyes lit up, and watched the 5 elders join the battlefield with solemnity and shock. At the same time, they were also a little worried. Would Ling Yun still have some tricks? Every time Ling Yun seemed to be in a desperate situation and seemed to have his physical strength declining, he could burst out with a stronger fighting power. This has happened more than once. Marco, Bista, Beckman and others stared at the battlefield with cold sweat on their faces. In the current battlefield, even they could not participate. Facing Ling Yun's terrifying strength, they would probably be killed instantly if they went up at this time. In the end, could the 5 elders defeat Ling Yun? Now they dare not have the confidence to win. Similarly, the pirates and the navy also moved further away, fearing that Ling Yun would suddenly break away and kill a group of people. Only the 7 warlords of the sea were the closest. Facing the giant Satan Saint like himself, there were also 9 strong men, including Sengoku, Gangu Kong, Kizaru, Whitebeard, and Red Hair, who were besieged. Even with the ability of the Nika fruit to change his own nonsense at will, Ling Yun still felt more and more exhausted. The enlargement of his body did not affect his ability to move around and fight back directly, and of course his fists were not as powerful as the Thunder and Fire Fist. The advantage in numbers could attack him multiple times, which put some pressure on Ling Yun. No, it's still not enough. At this time, the remaining system points did not support his ability to improve his strength again, and he had to continue killing. But now the navy and pirates are on guard, and even the 7 warlords of the sea are keeping a certain distance, all because they were on high alert after killing Quinn and those people just now. He had to repeat the old trick and make it more unexpected. Take a risk, let them let down their guard, and take the opportunity to attack. The pressure of the fierce battle made Ling Yun's mind run fast. While turning, he flipped the ground with one hand to form rubber to block the attacks of Whitebeard, Red Hair and others, and with the other hand, he collided with the fist of Satan in Titan form. His huge body was strangely sunken and concave, and he avoided the attacks of Garp, Sengoku and others with a strange posture, which made the 5 elders look pale. This is the fun of the Nika fruit, free control of the body. The more Kaido, Whitebeard, and Red Hair fought, the more frightened they became, their eyes trembling, and their faces covered with sweat. There has never been such a powerful person. Roger, Rocks pales in comparison to Ling Yun, he is too strong. Until now, Whitebeard and Red Hair have been fighting with all their strength, not to mention the injury to Ling Yun, which barely gave them the upper hand, but he became stronger and stronger. Even in the fierce battle now, Ling Yun is still extremely fierce. But Satan Saint had a gloomy smile on his face. Your fist has become weaker. Ling Yun. Everyone, use all your strength, this time he must be running out of energy. With such a huge body, Satan Saint can feel how fast his energy is fading, and Lingyun has been fighting for so long and still in this state. A battle lasted for so long, I don't believe Lingyun can still hold on. After I joined, he couldn't change back, forcing him to fight in this form. If this goes on, he will soon surrender and die. Under the urging of the 5 elders, Gangji Yukong and Zongguo did not dare to be careless and attacked more fiercely. Ling Yun's target at this time was the closest 7 warlords of the sea. But almost everyone who was not fighting at this time was already frightened. Ling Yun had killed thousands of people in seconds before, and warships were like paper in front of him. The 7 warlords seemed to be the closest, but they were thousands of meters away and looked far away. So an opportunity was still needed. Satan Saint's attack was the best opportunity. Ling Yun glanced over and had a full grasp of the positions of the 10 people on the opposite side. Fist bone, meteor, Garp's iron fist exploded, and the domineering impact crossed the distance, and the fist wind shook. Ling Yun seemed to want to avoid Garp's fist, but at this time, Whitebeard, Steel Bone Kong, Red Hair, and Warring States rushed forward. The flame knife, the cracked atmosphere, and the golden shock wave immediately blocked Ling Yun's retreat. Die, 10 strong men besieged you, Ling Yun, can you still escape? Satan Saint shouted angrily, his huge body opened to fill the gap, and his arms rolled up the wind and slapped Ling Yun. Another wave of super siege offensive. At this moment, everyone couldn't help but widen their eyes and watched nervously. Ling Yun, who was surrounded in all directions, burst into endless flames, wrapping his body into a ball, and at the same time, thunder fell from the sky and rolled into Ling Yun, who was like the sun. The next second, the attacks of Whitebeard, Red Hair, Steel Bone Kong and others came with a bang. The thunder and fire circle formed by Ling Yun violently rioted, as if it would explode in the next second, and there was a crackling sound. But then, Satan Saint's titan palm tore Ling Yun's thunder and fire circle, and smashed towards the white figure wrapped in thunder and lightning. With a loud bang, Ling Yun's body shrank, and was repelled by Satan Saint, drawing an arc and flying backwards to the distance. Success. Garp. Satan Saint looked at it excitedly and immediately shouted at Garp. Ling Yun. Garp knew that he couldn't hold back. Even if it was a good friend in the past, he could only bear the pain. The fist bone burst, and the attack that was brewing hit Ling Yun right along the trajectory of his retreat. Ling Yun was hit hard by the attack, and a suffocating feeling rose in his chest, but he still gritted his teeth and looked at Garp coldly, and then was thrown backwards like a high-speed cannonball. But at this time, Saint Satan's expression changed drastically. Chase him quickly. Just repeating the same old trick. It seems that he was repeatedly beaten back and his strength was weakening. But if Ling Yun wanted to fight, he would not show these, giving them the opportunity to siege and increase their offensive, gradually showing weakness. Change direction in the continuous knocking. Satan Saint has been worried that Ling Yun will still target other people. Unexpectedly, it really is. Not good. Don't let him get out of the battle circle. The old man with the sword was shocked and shouted to everyone. But at this time, Ling Yun's face had already shown a smile. Satan Saint's attack made him know that he couldn't deal with it with the power of the 4 fruits, and he would still be suppressed. The most important thing is that the blonde old man and the sword-holding old man are still waiting for an opportunity. They don't want to make a move easily, but once they make a move, they must control the battlefield and kill them with one blow. So they can't wait. Even if they are attacked by Satan Saint and Garp, they must find an opportunity. And the current target is the closest. Shichibukai. Whitebeard 2, Golden Emperor, Tyrant Bear, etc. As long as more than 2 are killed, there may be enough system points to upgrade again. It seems that the 7 warlords of the sea who were watching the battle at this time have not reacted yet, because Ling Yun's flying direction is not their side. Satan Saint, the blonde old man, and the sword-wielding old man don't think so. Ling Yun, who is out of the battle circle, is too dangerous. No one present can keep up with Ling Yun's speed, even Kizaru is much worse. As expected, Whitebeard, Red Hair, Kaido, and even Steel Bone Kong, Warring States, etc., all chased after him, and Satan Saint's eyes were grim and solemn. But the next second, Ling Yun looked back and smiled. His figure had returned to its original state, and he turned into a flash of lightning and disappeared directly on the spot. Observation hockey cannot be sensed. Ling Yun still has the observation kill. Ling Yun, you dare. Satan Saint's heart skipped a beat and he spoke angrily. He didn't care about the lives of these people, but Ling Yun's efforts to kill them made Satan Sheng feel inexplicably afraid. Almost in an instant, Ling Yun appeared above the heads of Whitebeard II, Tyrant Bear, Golden Emperor and others. The terrifying power shook, the hair stood up and the heat brought by thunder and fire made everyone feel a chill rushing to their heads. Ling Yun, no, the Golden Emperor shouted in horror. Tyrant Bear, Whitebeard II, the Empress and others turned around and dispersed quickly, with horror on their faces. Ling Yun's attacks were all ruthless and took away lives, but everyone didn't expect that the target would be their turn so soon. No matter how careful you are, no matter how far away you are, you can't be as fast as Ling Yun. Thunder and fire from the sky. Ling Yun's pure white figure stood in the void, and one hand clenched the air towards the Golden Emperor. The endless thunder and fire in the sky gathered and took shape in an instant. The awakened natural power combined with the power of the tremor fruit, a terrifying beam of light fell in an instant. The condensation of thunder and fire, plus the powerful power of the tremor fruit, pierced through the atmospheric cracks. I will not die, I am a god. I am a god. Facing the desperate bombardment, the Golden Emperor's eyes were filled with madness, and he roared heartbreakingly, and his condensed golden body was still rising. The palpitation of being locked by thunder and fire made him realize that he could not hide. He had to fight to the death. As long as he didn't die, the 10 strongest men behind him would catch up. But in a second, the golden body that was penetrated by the beam of light and fell between the thunder and fire was visibly melting. The power of the oscillating tremor fruit split a large number of white gaps around the Golden Emperor, and the ship under his feet was instantly destroyed, and the sea surface exploded. Asshole! Satan Shang, Gangji Yukong and others shouted helplessly on the way. The Golden Emperor completely disappeared, even his body disappeared, leaving only a huge channel on the exploded sea surface that went straight to the bottom of the sea, with the remaining lightning and flames flowing on the surface. Ding! Kill the Golden Emperor to get 4,500 system points. Only this little. It was a pity that Ling Yun was out of range by Tyrant Bear and his men. Otherwise, this attack would have at least 7,000 system points, enough to improve his strength by a large margin and restore his physical strength. But the inability to unlock the 5th fruit ability was enough to improve it by a lot. Ling Yun decisively loaded it on himself, and at the same time turned around and blasted against the furious Satan Saint. Ling Yun now did not have a giant body, and looked like a small black dot resisting a terrifying giant. Satan Saint found that Ling Yun's strength was not less than when he was giant, and his titan fist was actually blocked by Ling Yun. He has become stronger again. Satan Saint was shocked. Others took a breath of cold air at this time. The Golden Emperor was wiped out without any resistance. There was no one left, and the other 7 warlords were almost involved and killed. Killing like crazy, killing like crazy. Ling Yun is still killing in this situation. The cadres of the Red Corps and the White Corps were terrified. What kind of monster can fight to this extent, and can continue to fight in the face of the attacks of the 5 elders and the 9 strong men? Is his physical strength endless? Didn't he suffer any damage in the previous round of attacks? The pirates and the navy were scared and started to move away without saying a word. What a joke. Still watching at this distance, everyone has no sense of security at all. Satan Saint, Steel Bone Kong, Sengoku, Yellow Monkey, Green Bull, Fujitora, Whitebeard, Red Hair, Kaido, one by one flew to kill. The old man with the sword finally couldn't stand, and his figure suddenly disappeared on the spot. Ling Yun noticed that after resisting Satan Saint with a blow, his figure continued to turn into thunder and move quickly. And his target is still the 7 warlords of the sea. Whitebeard II Weevil does not have much IQ, but the instinct that bursts out when his life is in danger makes him react quickly. Run. His scalp is numb, as if there is a huge monster with murderous intent locking on him. Mom, he wants to kill me. Weevil is really panicked, and his shouting also makes the 10 strong men including Satan Saint notice Ling Yun's target. He decisively gathered towards Weevil, but except for Kizaru and Red Hair, the speed of others can't catch up at all. I saw the thunder flash by, and Ling Yun had blocked Weevil's way. Walk in the air. This speed is like a snail crawling in Ling Yun's eyes. Extending his arm with thunder and fire backwards, Ling Yun punched Weevil directly. It seems to be an ordinary punch. With the riot of armed color flow cherry and overlord color black lightning, Weevil was directly blown up. The space was cracked like a fragment, and finally died the turbulent sea below red. At this time, Red Hair and Yellow Monkey arrived late, and looked at Ling Yun, who killed Weibel in an instant in shock. Weibel, who had the powerful strength of Whitebeard in his youth, died just like that. Kill Edward Weibel and get 5,000 system points. Not enough, still not enough. Continue to open the fifth fruit ability is still a long way off. Ling Yun turned back coldly and looked at the shocked Red Hair and Yellow Monkey. Behind them, Gang Ji Yukong, Zongguo and others came with violent anger. And this is not the point. The bald old man in white clothes and holding a long sword has already come from another direction. Satan Saint, block him. The old man holding the sword has a dangerous light in his eyes, and the long sword is unsheathed. As the five elders, they obviously have more tacit understanding. Satan Saint's huge figure stretched out his hands and grabbed Ling Yun. Today's battle is no longer something that a lieutenant general can participate in. Even those who besieged Ling Yun are all generals. In addition to the two five elders, the other 9 strong men gritted their teeth and rushed up, chasing in the air, blocking Ling Yun's retreat. With another 5 elder on the field, Ling Yun's face was ugly. It goes without saying that the old man holding the sword must be as strong as Satan Saint. At this time, there were already 11 strong men besieging. We should be about the same distance. In this scene, the Vice Admiral led the remaining people to retreat hurriedly, and Marco, Beckman and others also asked the pirates to stay away. In front of them were the Navy and Quinn, and now it was the Golden Emperor and Weevil. This was not the battlefield when they besieged Ling Yun at the beginning. Even the 7 warlords of the sea could not survive a single move in front of him. How could it become like this? How come he becomes more and more ferocious in the battle? The 5 elders are so strong that they couldn't restrain him. The navy was terrified, and only a few scattered ships were left with the large fleet. The beast pirates were even worse, with only King and Kaido left. Dad, Marco and others were very worried. Ling Yun's fighting power was too amazing. Even Dad, who was known as the strongest man in the world, could not fight him. And the 3-5 elders were already crazy, and they wanted to kill Ling Yun here today no matter what. Otherwise, with Ling Yun's murderous intent, the world government will cease to exist. Ling Yun's pressure doubled after Satan Saint made his move, and now he was facing the joining of the knife-wielding old man, and he felt great pressure in his heart. Under the chaotic clouds, the big hands on the left and right sides attacked together. The steel bones below were waiting for the 9 strong men to stare at him, and various powerful moves were brewing. And just above Ling Yun, the knife-wielding old man drew out his long sword, and the black blade seemed to be injected with infinite energy. A lightning formed by domineering aura dragged along the trajectory. Take this opportunity to kill him. Satan Saint's roar shook the earth, and the murderous intent in his eyes was terrifying. Don't dream. Ling Yun's whole person turned into the sun, and the power of thunder and fire and the Junjun fruit burst out crazily. The huge energy displayed after combining together is like a real sun hanging. The next second, the target is the knife-wielding old man. The awakened natural ability has endless elemental power. The taller the old man holding the knife is, the more he can feel how terrifying the energy Ling Yun possesses. Oh my god. Everyone looked at this scene with dull eyes, deeply shocked by it. Such a scene has never appeared in history. Some people even sat paralyzed on the shaking ship, looking at the surroundings in horror as if it was the end of the world. Saint Satan had already felt the burning heat from his palms and the numbness of lightning, and resolutely increased his strength to slap it. With a loud bang, his palms could not close at all, and the palms covered with domineering energy collided with the lightning and fire on the surface of Ling Yun, producing brilliant sparks and lightning. But what no one expected was that in just such a moment, Ling Yun disappeared between the closing palms, and the white figure soared into the sky, looking at the old man holding the knife with a grim look. Die. The old man holding the knife waved his hands and slashed with a knife. The chaotic clouds in the sky were separated, and the invisible sword light with countless black lightning fell. 5 elder stars, each of them is really strong to the extreme. The eyes of the strong men below were even more solemn, and they found Ling Yun rushing out from above. What Ling Yun faced at this time was the invisible sword energy and the overlord color lightning. Thunder hammer. His right hand quickly extended backwards, and Ling Yun burst out with thunder and vibration power while twisting his body, and his right fist smashed like a lightning. The old man holding the knife raised his sword horizontally, and was hit hard by the thunder hammer in the next second, and flew backwards at a very fast speed with an uncomfortable look on his face. It's really strong. But how can you take this knife? Although the old man holding the knife was uncomfortable, he still laughed wildly and roared. Although Ling Yun tried his best to dodge, the invisible sword energy had already pressed into his shoulders, and his white body was submerged by endless black thunder. Now, Satan Saint quickly clenched his fist, the power of Titan exploding, a huge fist broke through the air and smashed straight towards Ling Yun. Gangukong, Sengoku, Kizaru, Green Bull, Fujitora and others joined forces to launch an offensive. Gravity waves, vines, fist winds, lasers, sword energy, rushed straight to Ling Yun from bottom to top. Monster. Go to hell. He can't bear it. We are going to win. The Navy and pirates below all widened their eyes, shocked and excited at the same time. No one can withstand such an attack. No matter how perverted Ling Yun is, he can't resist it, let alone dodge it. High in the sky, Ling Yun gritted his teeth, and the scars on his shoulder were visible from the knife-wielding old man who had been brewing for an unknown period of time. The scars were deep enough to see the bone, and the severe pain made Ling Yun a little crazy. 5 elder stars. Very good. Very good. Thunder and fire shock. The power of the 3 fruits merged, and the terrifying wave burst abruptly blocked the sword energy from continuing to press down, and shattered the black lightning in the sky. It became as dazzling as the sun again, causing everyone present to change their faces drastically. The sword energy was blocked, and it was unclear whether Ling Yun was injured. The sight of the color was like a waste of Ling Yun's sight. How can he still have such strong physical strength? After the old man with the knife stabilized his body, sweat broke out on his forehead. Does this monster really have endless physical strength? Satan Saint's Titan fist hit the dazzling Ling Yun again, and the attacks of the 9 strong men behind him followed closely. At this moment, Ling Yun, with a flash of madness in his eyes, swung his arms heavily and waved at everyone below in the air. Thunder and fire shock. Explosion. The lightning and fire that quickly formed blended and shone, and with Ling Yun's movements, they rushed down brazenly. Satan Saint's Titan fist was directly bounced away, and collided with the 9 strong men behind him. The island where the battle took place was in ruins, and even half of it had sunk into the sea. On the surging sea, the warships and pirate ships that were encircling and suppressing Ling Yun looked at him from afar, all with horror and shock in their eyes. How could it be that half of the island had disappeared? How could he be so strong? With the 5 elders, there were 11 strong men above the Admiral. The surviving navy and pirates swallowed their throats and looked at the white figure in the sky in disbelief. The 5 elders Saint Satan and the knife-wielding old man attacked one after another, and the sea emperors such as Whitebeard, Red Hair, and Kaido, as well as the admirals of the navy, the hero Garp, the marshal Sengoku, and the steel bone Kong attacked one after another. Ling Yun was able to resist the offensive and even launched a terrifying counterattack. However, Marco, Beckman and others could clearly see that a touch of bright red appeared in Ling Yun's bright white. He's injured. It seems that he really can't hold on. If he can injure him once, he can injure him the next time. The vice admirals and the pirates' officers all had their eyes brightened and were a little excited. It's not easy. At this point in the battle, Ling Yun finally had a wound on his body. The slash that the old man with the knife was brewing was indeed very terrifying. With the pressure of the offensive of Satan Shang, Gangu Kong and others, even Ling Yun couldn't let it go completely. The scar on the shoulder went deeper, causing blood to ooze out. You are already injured, Ling Yun. This time I must bury you in this sea area. Satan Shang and the old man with the knife were overjoyed and laughed wildly. Gangu Kong, Kizaru, Green Bull and Fujitora also had slightly changed expressions. It took so long to leave me this scar. How can you laugh? Ling Yun sneered. Although the awakened mythical beast, Nika form could not immediately recover from the slash of domineering, the bleeding stopped quickly. His heart was also very solemn. The power of the 4 fruits was still a bit reluctant. They had the advantage in numbers, and each of them was a top-notch warrior, which was really difficult to deal with. It was very difficult to find an opportunity to kill a few more people on the periphery. Now it was even more so. After being stabbed, they were stopped by them together. Whitebeard, Red Hair, Kaido, and the 5 elders, the Navy all wanted to kill Ling Yun on the spot. Seeing Ling Yun injured and bleeding, everyone was excited. No matter how strong he is destined to be worn out to death. His physical strength will soon be exhausted, especially since he is bleeding. It's not easy. You know, this is an unprecedented combination of forces. How much strength does Ling Yun have left to fight until now? Everyone watched nervously, and their mouths were dry due to their emotions. Whitebeard, Red Hair, Kaido, and the 5 elders, the Navy would not give Ling Yun a break at this time, seeing Ling Yun injured. The next second, they surrounded him again. What was even more surprising was that in the new round of siege, the blonde old man standing in the rear also took action. All the 5 elders who were present actually attacked. It's time, Ling Yun, we won't give you a chance to turn the tables. The world government and the 5 elders were determined to kill Ling Yun. Ling Yun's injury was the best signal, and they wanted to kill him while he was sick. Moreover, after the old man with the knife launched that knife, it was impossible for him to use such a powerful slash in a short time. So the blonde old man had to move. In the siege that broke out again in the air. In the blink of an eye, the thunder and fire, shock, and Nika forms were activated, and Ling Yun, who was fighting fiercely, seemed to have sensed something. With a strange posture, he punched to block Whitebeard's shaking knife, and when he stretched out his arm, he grabbed the huge thunder in his hand and threw it towards Garp, Sengoku, and Gangukong. Such scenes happened constantly in the eyes of everyone. Ling Yun, who had the power of the 4th fruit, was like a real god. Thunder and fire were weapons that could be used in his hands. His body was agile, and he turned into thunder and turned fire into entities to rebound and attack. He used armed color to resist the weaker attacks of Kizaru, Green Bull, Fujitora, etc. Under the effect of the sight and hearing killing, even Red Hair and Whitebeard had a hard time fighting. The most ferocious ones on the scene were the old man with a knife and Satan Saint. One of them had a sharp slash, even stronger than Red Hair and Hawkeye, and the other had great power in the Titan form, and his skin was thick and tough and he could withstand a lot of beatings. Ling Yun's attacks on Kizaru and Fujitora were blocked by Satan Saint several times. If we continue to fight like this, we will really be exhausted. Ling Yun was also a little anxious. If he turned into lightning and escaped from the battle circle, he would be locked by the domineering aura of the 11 of them. Unless he ran away directly, he would be a threat to others. It was impossible to attack. Whitebeard too and the Golden Emperor had already been killed, and the remaining 7 warlords of the sea were extremely cautious. If they saw something wrong, they would turn around and run away. Once he chased after them, he would inevitably suffer the same round of attacks. He couldn't take this risk. For a moment, Ling Yun was also a little hesitant. But at this moment, Satan Saint and the knife-wielding old man, who had kept a certain distance for fear of being caught by Ling Yun to counterattack, suddenly attacked desperately. Steel Bone Kong, who was wrapped in a huge amount of armed color domineering, was like a monkey, grabbing Ling Yun's body. Something's wrong. In such a fierce battle, unusual movements must be accompanied by invisible dangers. Ling Yun was not a fool, and decisively chose to turn into thunder to avoid it. But at this time, Kaido, Red Hair, Whitebeard, Garp, Sengoku and other strong men who all had domineering color used their domineering color. The sky shook, like a storm sweeping in all directions, surging like a storm. Under the terrifying suppression, Ling Yun's simple lightning was disturbed for a moment. Then, the old man with a knife slashed down fiercely. Your death is coming. The huge Titan body pressed down, and the palm that covered the sky and the sun covered it. Flaw. Under the seemingly fierce attack, it was full of loopholes for Ling Yun. Unable to form a blockade, whether he counterattacked them or killed others. But, I always felt something was wrong. In the moment of hesitation, Ling Yun gave up killing other Shichibukai to get system points, but suddenly used the Thunder Hammer to counterattack against Satan Saint's giant fist. The slash from the old man with a knife was a thunder and fire, and the light column formed by the shot gathered from a higher altitude and hit it with a bang. Doing 2 things at the same time. He simply ignored the pressure from the Overlord hungry aura. Since it had interfered with the elementalization for a moment, he simply stopped moving. But at this moment, abnormal fluctuations appeared. Ling Yun was extremely solemn, thinking that it was indeed a sneak attack. It's the blonde old man. Even though he knew that this guy would sneak in to join the battle and attack him, Ling Yun had no better way, and he couldn't even avoid all the attacks. The situation changed rapidly. Use the domineering pressure of the domineering color to influence the elementalization, and then the knife-wielding old man, Satan Saint, launched a more fierce attack to influence his judgment, and finally he attacked. But what Ling Yun didn't expect was that the others were so cooperative. It's rare to see a neat domineering color team up. But it doesn't matter now. The 3 of the 5 elders present all attacked together, and the pressure he would face would be even greater. Since he was not allowed to continue killing the people on the periphery, he would fight with the 12 of you. Ling Yun already had some ideas in his mind at this time. This kind of trick can only be used by you 5 elders. With a cold snort, the body in the Nika form was hit by the golden old man's stored power, stretching like rubber, stretching, and stretching again. Nika form. The golden old man's eyes were full of murderous intent. He didn't expect that Ling Yun could avoid most of the damage in this way. It's my turn. With a grim tone, Ling Yun ignored the fierce attacks of Satan Saint, the knife-wielding old man and the navy pirates behind him. He had to teach the golden old man a lesson. The elongated body was suddenly wrapped in thunder and fire, and under the blessing of domineering, it burst out with powerful elasticity. The golden old man flew backwards uncontrollably, and at the same time, there was a dazzling light gathering on his head. Thunder and fire shock. The fusion of the 3 fruit abilities formed a powerful light column impact. This was a move that Ling Yun could use without posture and ability and will. Hold on, let's kill him. Satan Saint glared, and the knife-wielding old man shouted. For them, Ling Yun, who showed his back completely, was the best opportunity. Without hesitation, the 5 elders, Whitebeard, Red Hair, Kaido, and the remaining 11 strong men from the navy all attacked. Under the horrifying wave, Ling Yun did not even look at the blonde old man who was submerged by the impact of the light column, and turned around to hit him with a thunder hammer. Suddenly, the violent wave tore the sky and overturned the sea. The island below was completely torn into pieces and collapsed into the sea. Crazy. It's too crazy. Why does he still have such a strong power? He was obviously injured just now. Monster. It's a real monster. How can it be defeated so easily? On the warships and pirate ships that were watching the battle in the distance, everyone was terrified. As the strong wind blew in his face, accompanied by the tyrannical domineering pressure, the Vice Admiral and the pirate cadres almost couldn't bear it. Look, Ling Yun vomited blood. At this time, Marco, Beckman and others were excited and pointed at Ling Yun in the center of the battlefield. Using 2 major moves in succession, even Ling Yun was temporarily unable to do so. The thunder and fire shock blasted the golden old man directly into the sea, forming an abyss-like hole. Ling Yun was also completely hit by the joint attack of Satan Saint, the knife-wielding old man and others, spitting out a mouthful of blood, and his eyes were black for a moment. Ha 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 ha, you are not much better. At this time, the blonde old man rushed out of the sea, with blood still on the corners of his mouth, lightning and bright flames on his body, laughing. His condition was not so good. He had already known the horror of Ling Yun when he watched the battle before, but he didn't expect that his attack was so strong. The thunder and fire shock also hit him and made him spit blood, his whole body was charred, and some places even had cracked skin. If he hadn't specialized in the armed color domineering, I'm afraid this attack would have seriously injured him directly. No wonder the Golden Emperor, Whitebeard too and others couldn't resist it at all. Ling Yun's moves were not something that could be taken on by a single person. You're going to be finished soon. Ling Yun. Seeing Ling Yun injured and spitting blood, Satan Saint and the old man holding a knife laughed one after another, with fierce light flashing in their eyes. Everyone, use all your strength, he will definitely not be able to hold on. Gang Gukong, Zongguo and others quickly responded to the many strong men present. Whitebeard, Red Hair, Kaido and others did not speak, but they all silently showed their strongest strength. The space began to tremble, and Ling Yun could clearly feel a huge vibration force coming from Whitebeard. This extremely strong remnant of the old era actually still retained the strength to shake the earth. Whitebeard's goal is to tear apart the area where Lingyun is, and the sky and the earth are spinning to make him an environment where he has not used all his strength. So you can see that with Whitebeard as the center, the sea surface is divided into rings, as if the sky and the earth are tilting, accompanied by a huge sea earthquake. Trembling fruit. Lingyun frowned and was about to take action. Red Hair, Kaido, Kizaru, Green Bull, Fujitora and Hawkeye actually rushed over directly. Lingyun, who was affected by the power of the tremor fruit, simply stopped. The white figure was surging with thunder and fire. Instead of retreating, he rushed into the encirclement of the 6 people. The 6 of them alone could not untangle Lingyun at all, but now everyone was fighting with all their strength, and Lingyun could not underestimate every attack. Even in the air, the 6 people's attack was very powerful. Lingyun sometimes grabbed the sword energy with his hands and sometimes punched out. With the power of the Nika fruit, it is enough to perfectly resist their attacks, but this is not the result Lingyun wants. Fighting will only lead to death. Grabbing Hawkeye's black blade knight with force, Lingyun threw it out in Hawkeye's surprised eyes, and it hit the sea like a meteorite, and the waves surged. My God, the world's #1 swordsman can grab the world's #1 fastest sword directly with his hands. Quote. The pirates watching the battle were so shocked that they couldn't stop. It was too shocking, that was Hawkeye's sword. But the people in the battle were not surprised at all, and they were also very solemn. Hawkeye was able to throw it away when he was slashed. Lingyun's body was really powerful and frightening. That's it. The voice of the old man with a knife suddenly came. Lingyun looked back and stared coldly at the 3-5 elders who rushed over, and snorted heavily, hide aside and prepare a killing move. Quote. Before he finished speaking, the hammer of thunder struck out, falling directly from the heads of Saint Satan, the old man with the knife, and the old man with the golden hair. The fusion of the terrifying thunder and vibration, such power they had experienced before, but at this time, the old man with the knife swung his hand. It was an invisible sword energy again. The thunder seemed to be blocked for a while, allowing the 3 of them to successfully rush forward, and the invisible sword energy was still slashing at Lingyun in front. The fanatical fighting spirit and killing intent in Lingyun's eyes surged even more, and the domineering aura of Liang filled his palms, directly pinching the invisible sword energy that was slashing. Taking advantage of the situation, he collided with the 3 of the 5 elders, and the terrifying fluctuations instantly became stronger and stronger. But at this time, there were more than just Satan Saint, the knife-wielding old man, and the blonde old man, as well as Whitebeard, Red Hair, Kaido and others waiting for an opportunity to move. The huge advantage in numbers, the attacks of 11 strong men made Lingyun unable to completely dodge and resist, especially when fighting with Satan Saint, the knife-wielding old man, and the blonde old man who were far stronger than the 4 emperors. In an instant, various attacks continued to fall behind Lingyun. Even if Lingyun formed a sun-like protection around his body at this time, he was still torn apart by the 9 strong men behind him. Die. Kaido's face was full of ferocity, and the mace expanded rapidly, aiming at Lingyun's head and falling. In the dense black lightning, the attacks of Whitebeard, Red Hair, Kizaru, Green Bull, Fujitora and other navy were also behind. Hit. Everyone witnessed the scene of Lingyun being ravaged. First, the 9 strong men behind him tore through his defense, and the attack fell. Before the white figure changed his body shape to relieve the force, the Satan Saint, the old man with a knife, and the old man with blonde hair in front of him seized the opportunity. Fists smashed down, and the knife energy slashed out. A huge sound and fire came from the air. Ha ha ha, this monster can't turn the tables. 5 elders plus 9 strong men, I don't believe he can still withstand it. On the warship and the pirate ship, those who hoped that Lingyun would be defeated could not help but get excited in shock. Lingyun was hit by huge attacks one after another, and only at the last moment did he have the opportunity to turn into lightning and quickly distance himself. With a bang, Lingyun, who smashed into the remaining island ground as a foothold, panted and wiped the remaining blood. Sure enough, if I can't unlock the 5th fruit ability, even if I improve it again, it's still not enough to face these people together. Lingyun knew that he couldn't win just like this. Looking at the other Shichibukai, the navy, and the pirates, they all hid far away, and there was no chance to kill them to increase the system points. If this goes on, his physical strength will be completely exhausted, and he will end up in regret. I can only use the worst strategy, fight to the death. As long as I kill one of these 11 people, the system points will definitely be enough for me to activate the 5th fruit ability. At that time, the power of fusion will be even greater, and all the people present will not be my opponents even if they join forces. However, such an opportunity will almost never happen, and I can only create it myself. So when he looked up again, even though Ling Yun was a little embarrassed at this time, he was still so proud, staring coldly at the chasing Satan Saint, the old man with a knife, the blonde old man and the other 9. What a pervert. He was able to stand firm after being attacked by 11 strong men. Just vomiting blood and looking pale, can't this battle end? Who among the people present was not shocked by Ling Yun's killing intent? Except for the Empress, who knew that Ling Yun would not kill them, the others were eager to get rid of this killing god. As long as Ling Yun was still there, they would be on edge. At this time, including Satan Saint, the old man with a knife, and the old man with blonde hair, they all looked at Ling Yun below with cold eyes, and did not attack again immediately. Including Zhang Guo, Gangji Yukong, Huang Yuan and others all understood that it was better not to chase after a desperate enemy. The more they saw Ling Yun in a desperate situation, the more careful they had to be. Even though Ling Yun was a little shaky at this time. Ling Yun, I'll give you a chance. Tell me the secret of your various abilities, and I can leave you a whole body. Satan Saint slowly approached, saying grimly. 4 abilities appeared on Ling Yun. Such a secret is actually very attractive to everyone. You are still pretending. Haha, complete corpse. If I lose the battle and die here today, I am afraid my body will be broken into pieces, and you will not let it go. Ling Yun said with sarcasm, having seen through the faces of the 5 elders. On the day of retirement, they all wanted to wipe themselves out. Any words of theirs are not trustworthy. What's more, I, Ling Yun, will definitely lose. Forget it, kill him, his body can also be studied by us. The blonde old man grinned coldly and cruelly. After hearing this, Kaido, Whitebeard, Red Hair and others were thoughtful. But after fighting until now, everyone's consensus is, Ling Yun must die. You kill me, or do I kill you? Ling Yun stood up again, with white airflow wrapped around his body, and thunder and flames surged again. The slight atmospheric crack spread, which immediately shocked everyone. He actually has such a strong power. Whitebeard and Red Hair were both shocked. If they had fought till now, they would have been lying on the ground. Unable to move, Ling Yun was still full of vigor. It's just bluffing. Satan Saint's pupils shrank, and he immediately chose to be the first to attack. The huge body in the Titan form suddenly swelled again, and the huge palm slapped Ling Yun directly like a meteorite. This terrifying and huge Titan body is more than 100 meters long, and the dragon transformed by Kaido is just like a long snake in his hand. As soon as the giant palm moved, the wind and clouds moved immediately. The old man with a knife and the old man with blonde hair attacked one after another, posing their attack postures, and black lightning suddenly covered their bodies. Whoosh! Ling Yun disappeared in an instant and hit the Titan's giant palm. At the same time, his body swelled. With a loud bang. The powerful force followed the palm, and the Titan giant transformed by Satan Saint was actually deviated to the side by the palm of the palm, and the whole person stepped back several steps in the sea. Then the sword energy and fist power fell, and Ling Yun turned into a scorching sun of thunder and fire, fighting with the blonde old man and the old man with a knife. Zzz. The sword energy was melted, the fist power was blocked, and Ling Yun roared, "Thunder Hammer." His right fist extended backwards and smashed down fiercely at the blonde old man and the old man with a knife. The combination of the Junjun fruit and the Xianglei fruit burst out with amazing power. He can actually launch such an attack. Satan Shang, the old man with a knife, and the blonde old man were all repelled by Ling Yun one after another. Ling Yun fought 11 top masters alone. His recovery ability, physical strength, and 3-color domineering are far superior to ours. We can't give him a chance to breathe, otherwise, we will lose. Seeing this scene, Whitebeard's face was extremely gloomy. Without more than 10 masters, Ling Yun couldn't even stop him. If they were really defeated one by one, then all those who took action would be finished. If there are not enough strong men to block Ling Yun, it will be a disaster for them. Besiege him. Zhang Guo, Gangji Yukong and others all changed their faces. He was the first to step into the air and rush forward with a roar. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.